Sorry. No. Hi, good evening, good afternoon, good morning. We are the Melanated Council.
Wait,
Uh,
yes.
I don't know where
Okay.
Ron was pointing. It was like, yeah, we're done. Yes, we're the Melanated Council. We stream every Tuesday night at 9 p.m. Eastern Standard Time, 6 p.m. Pacific Standard Time. And if you're watching us now, then right now. Sorry for the slight delay. There was some, mechanical, technical, physical, logical difficulties, spiritual difficulties.
Yes.
You're gonna use that one every week from now on.
Yes.
But as always, please like, subscribe, and enjoy the show. And also, share. Like if you enjoy watching us, if you're, a frequent viewer or a regular, definitely, share it with your friends. We're of the technological age, so where like the share button is, and you know how to like share shit. That's pretty much like what we do all day when we're not working. We just share things.
You share good things.
Yeah, we share good things and funny things.
Yeah.
Which is perfect for tonight's topic. Our topic for tonight is a journey through comedy. And we're going to be talking about how comedy has changed throughout the years, how like humble beginnings of comedy, how things have changed, and possibly like where it's going, and kind of like what got you into comedy, and all that good stuff. But hey, Mish.
Hey, Mish.
Yes.
Always. I don't know if you noticed, I have this fun little doohickey on my wrist. It's because actually it was yesterday. Yesterday I went rock climbing and I sprained or injured my wrist. I'm actually not entirely sure. I think I sprained it. I don't think it's broken because I wouldn't really be able to move it, and I think I'd be in, heaps of pain. Which I'm not actually. Like when I injured it, I was still able to like climb a couple of more times, even more than my partner, who kept who kept just like wearing himself out mid climb and would just want to come down. Of course.
Oh yeah.
Of course.
Oh yeah.
But yeah, I don't think I've ever really like injured my wrists before. I did years ago back in college. Like I was part of like this hip hop organization, and we learned like the 4 elements of hip hop, which is emceeing, breakdancing, DJing, and graffiti. And so I was like learning how to break dance, and it uses like a lot of use your hands a lot, like on the ground, to like balance and position yourself. So like I was doing some stuff on the ground, like very beginner shit, but like I definitely like hurt my wrist, and I never really bothered to really get it checked out. But like my wrist was like hurting for like years, but then it just eventually stopped. And I didn't even like it was. I wouldn't say like it was hurting like super bad, but like it would just like be like slightly irritated occasionally, and then eventually it just like stopped. So I don't know if this is just maybe I just have a bad wrist because I just never bothered to really get it checked out. I think it was this wrist. I don't think it was my left hand. I think it was my right. I don't know. But yeah, that's my story for. I mean, I just like hung out with like a friend over the weekend. Didn't really like do much. We went to a gay bar.
Hey.
Yeah, which was fun. I guess it's been like years since I've been to a gay bar. But like we went like kind of like early in the day, so there was just like a bunch of like old men. just kind of hanging out, vibing. I was like, this is cool though, like, cause in South Florida, there's like a gay neighborhood called Wilton Manors, so so there's just a ton of gay bars. There's like restaurant stores, what have you, run primarily by like gay people. It's a whole, it's just it's a neighborhood. So like I was with my friend who's gay, but he like lives in Miami, and for whatever reason, he feels like there's not like a lot of gay bars in Miami. He feels like there's like none. I was like, really? Because usually a lot of gay people live in Miami. So but he feels like there's like a conspiracy theory. There's like some sort of conspiracy as to why like the gay bars keep getting shut down, and I'm kind of curious. But yeah, I mean, there's a lot of gay bars in Broward County, the county north of Miami. So like there's that. But yeah, I do find it to be really weird because like I don't know, Miami's such a huge city and there's a lot of gay people there. So it's like, why aren't there any gay bars? But yeah. Sorry to end on like a mysterious note. To be continued.
So,
how's it going?
Yeah, it's funny because like we talked about our injuries last week.
I know, right?
Right. So that's kind of ironic because now it's like, oh, you injured yourself, and I'm not gonna like take too much time, but some of the stuff that happened, because I didn't really talk about the previous weekend, I'll just say there were concerts for days. There was Capella Gray, who had the Gallus concert, or the Gallus song, which was very popular last year. See, I don't actually keep up with the
like fighting,
but I'm with it still. So Providence, I saw Capella Gray. That was like last Saturday.
That's cool.
Friday. But that man came out mad late. So it was supposed to be 8 p.m. show, which is fine. People don't come out till 2 or 3 hours. He showed up at like 1:15 a.m. I was like, y'all aren't serious. So I got there because I usually don't get to these things on time. So I probably got there 10:30 myself, almost 11. But I'm still like, dang. Like, imagine if you got here at 8, you waited 5 hours. That's crazy. And I ended up like just chilling with a friend who lived in Providence after that. So thankfully I was able to crash there because it's like an hour plus. Not quite an hour and a half, but it's not really that close to get back. So then Saturday morning I just came back and chilled, or afternoon. There was actually a really interesting topic about sex before marriage in a church thing. Some friends of mine who are Seventh-day Adventists, and they're Africans. So it's like an African church in the area in Lowell. So I attended a very, very passionate conversation about sex before marriage, and definitely had a lot of interesting perspectives on that. And then Sunday,
may I ask what your perspective is?
Do it. I mean, God, this is on the record.
I mean, I already said it to the church, so this isn't that much.
Yeah, but it was a smaller discussion. This is immortalized forever. I mean, it's cool. Do what you want, I would say. I mean, really, like, in the perspective that I agreed with was like the double standard that you see with, like, let's say you have people outside of the church who or in the church who outside of marriage has sex, and let's say they're both virgins, so it's not like they have a history, but you'll see a much more like shaming of the woman versus the men. Even in that church environment, you'll still see the men often not given as much of like a, as much of a talking to or something. I mean, sometimes you maybe, but like usually the women bear the brunt of it. And it was just crazy because one group of guys, like after the woman was saying like, yeah, the women carry all the stigma and the men don't. And one guy in this group of guys, he was like, as they should. And then that was just like a whole firecracker. And I feel like he retracted the statement, but didn't exactly. I don't know. It was a lot. So it was fun though. It was cool to show up. There was food, which was nice. Sunday was just chill. Sunday was Sunday. But this week, I actually just toured an apartment today, which was cool. Because I have to move very soon. very, very soon. So I saw an apartment. I'm gonna be living with a friend, which is nice because I was looking for places by myself, but I'm looking into like 2 bed, 2 bath. So that's cool. Because it dramatically opens the landscape. Because even with high rent prices, 2 bed, 2 bath typically are reasonable. Especially even in some of those nice complexes that are property managed, you can get something under 3,000, which it would be cheaper per person rent than I'm paying right now because I'm paying over 1,500. So even if I'm getting something that's like 3,000 or 2,800 a month, that's like 1,400 a month, doable.
Mm-hmm.
As for this past weekend, Egyptian, like I told you off stream, Egyptian was in Providence on Thursday, so I went to that concert.
Egyptian is a reggae artist.
Yes, reggae. Oh, okay. I wasn't sure if it was reggae or dancehall. Sometimes I can't keep up.
I mean, like I feel like dancehall is under the umbrella of reggae. You know?
Okay, fair.
Well, I guess like dancehall, yeah.
Yeah, he had some. I don't want to say super old school hits, but like he had some hits from back in the day, and like it was fun. And I don't know, the rest of the weekend was whatever it was. Zimbabwe Independence Day, that was yesterday. So I went to a celebration on Sunday night briefly. They had like a day party, and I showed up in the last 30 minutes because I did not have time to be out here all day. And Waka Flocka Flame, that was so random. Waka Flocka Flame came to Boston on Saturday, and I ended up going for the few songs that I knew. I wasn't going to actually go, but because I was already on the way back from near Rhode Island, I was like, you know what, let me stop by Boston. Showed up for the last hour, like 1 a.m. No Hands, which was the song I actually knew. I forgot about Heart in the Paint. I forgot about It's a Party, It's a Party, It's a Party, yay, whatever that song is. Yeah, I didn't realize that was him. Anyway, let's not get copyrighted before we start playing music and then they want to take this video down. So that was cool. I didn't really see anyone I knew, but I just wanted to go because I feel like I'm on a concert binge right now. Sean Paul's coming to Boston this Friday, and I'm going.
Oh shit! I should
Cranium, who had dancehall. Cranium, Gal Policy, Nobody Have to Know. Oh my god, it's gonna be that's next week Saturday. And Movado's also coming next week Saturday, but like not going because Cranium beats up.
Yeah, Cranium's good.
I'm not gonna go into all of the next of it. You'll stay tuned for the next few weeks, and you'll hear about all the things happening in early May because there's already multiple people in the first half of May that I know about, African and Caribbean artists. So
nice.
Ron.
Okay, I'm gonna bring it on home. So my weekend celebrated the oldest birthday on Saturday.
Hey.
So he turned 15. Woo woo.
Okay. That's pretty good.
That's not okay. Tell me that is not okay.
What's not okay?
Yeah. He'll turn to 15.
Oh, because now he's the oldest, right?
Yes, he's the oldest.
So you gotta now you're going through these stages for the first time.
Yes. Oh my gosh. Yes. Every little thing. So, which was cool because he didn't want much for his birthday. So we're like, okay, we surprised him, taking him out for breakfast, and we went to a local restaurant in town. Thanks, Liz. We took him to a local restaurant in town, and we got there early enough to be a part of their breakfast buffet. And nice. Well, shout out to the birthday girl from last week. Happy birthday to her. Woo, woo, woo.
Yes, happy belated birthday.
Yes, happy belated birthday. And the breakfast bar was phenomenal. Oh my gosh. Everything was cooked right to perfection. And he's really picky when it comes to like his foods, especially when it comes to breakfast foods. He's very, very picky. We left, and so we asked him, so what do you rate it? He said, I give it a 9 out of 10. He said, I give it a 9 out of 10. He said, the only reason why I give it a 9 out of 10 is because the music was right, our waitress was amazing, and
Here,
No,
here's our Quaker Oats.
I was like, why is this so good? This breakfast bar was a 10 out of 10. I was like,
Nature Valley, the best Nature Valley I've seen in my life.
right.
man,
Like, who made it?
man, no, like it was like 3 things of eggs. It was bacon, sauce, like 2 things of sausage, pancake, like 2 things of pancakes, 2 different styles of pancakes, I should say, waffles, like whatever you could think of as far as breakfast items go. It was a full bar full of it, and we took advantage of it. And I think he said that the one thing that he didn't like, which we gave it a 9 out of 10. He said one of the items, it was the pancakes. He was mad because the pancakes was rough.
Oh, wow.
He said the pancakes was rough. He said it almost tastes like they were dried out. I'm like, bro, you're supposed to put some syrup on. He said, I didn't know where the syrup was at. Like, we had some on the table because I didn't know where it was at either until I did my second walk around. I'm like, oh, the syrup was right here the whole time. But it was cool. And then later on that day, a couple of friends came by to spend the night, and then we all played on Fortnite. And we did really good. We did really good. We got 2 wins. I got 1 win with my oldest and his other friend, and then they jumped off, and then my youngest came on, and I got a win with him. So that was awesome. That was awesome. And then Sunday, of course, with the church, came home, cleaned up a little bit, and we just kind of like just relaxed, and it just pretty much just planned out, like, what he really wants to do. He was like, I really don't want much. He said, but if I could get if I could get some other items on my birthday list, that would be great. I'm like, okay, we can make it work. We can make it work. No, I personally don't. My youngest and my oldest, yes. Yes, they are up to date with any and all Fortnite dances that they know of and they could do. So I probably think like the only one I can possibly do relatively okay is the backpack kid. Other than that, any other the other ones, nah, not at all. You would not catch me doing none of the Fortnite dances. But it doesn't mean that I won't try. I will probably make the attempt to do it, but I will fail epically. My youngest, oh yeah, he spends days watching and mimicking and learning how to do it. And so my youngest, oh yeah. If you ask him to do a Fortnite dance, he's 7. He's 7. He'll be 8 this year. Huh?
It's so impressionable at that age, and they know how to like do these things better than we can. Like flossing, especially. Like, I'm just like, how do y'all do this?
Yeah.
Like, you learned how to do this before. I'm like, Michael Jackson walked so that 7-year-old kids could run, could floss and run. Michael Jackson so that these kids could floss and run.
Listen, don't let that young man fool you. He is what we call a true wild card. We don't know what to expect from him because we don't know what he's going to do next. Because he's always trying to one up himself at whatever. So it's like okay, like thank you, but just be careful because we don't want you to. No, it is. It really is. It really is because they actually added a mode which I enjoy. It's the no building mode. So it's like a cartoon version of PUBG. If anybody's familiar with PUBG, PUBG is a battle royale where you have no building of whatsoever. You basically use your surroundings to your advantage to actually win and stay alive. And the no building feature, it does just that. It takes away the option to build, and it forces you to rely on using cover, using camouflage, getting in the best positions in best places to actually win. So it was cool. It was cool. I like it. I like playing those modes because it's like me personally, if anybody can say you want to play Fortnite, sure, but don't expect me to build. Like I will cover fire you as much as I possibly can. And if you want to do some building, yeah, I will cover you while. But if you ask me to build something, nope.
Yeah, better than me. I've never played Fortnite, so I don't even know what I would be doing.
Yeah, I only played Fortnite like a little bit. I only played like a couple of times, so like,
Yeah.
it's fun, but it's like a lot. It's one of those games. It's like I feel like it's sort of sucky because it's like a great way to like meet people and like
Mm-hmm.
sort of like communicate online and stuff like that. But like it's just I feel like it's simultaneously just one of those games, just like Call of Duty and any like online game where shitty ass shit people. It's like I'm a woman. They can hear that in my voice, and then they might start, being assholes. They're gonna ask if I'm like what my race is.
Oh, jeez.
Like, and I guess it's just one of those things where like I shouldn't let that stop me per se.
Mm-hmm.
Because like I might really truly enjoy it, but also it's like one of those games where like you join it like the game could be out for 2 days, like it could be a 2-day-old game, and then there's already like people who are just masters at the game and are just destroying you, and you're just like, hey, I just want to play and try to get good. It's like, no, it's like stomp your head into the dirt.
Psych.
Yeah, I'm like, geez, sorry for having a full-time job.
Right. Right.
Sorry.
Oh man, yeah.
Bills.
No, you're good. You are
Yeah.
good because I echo the same sentiments. I do. I echo the same sentiments.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
But yeah, I guess there's a weird transition as to since stopping your head into the ground. Casuals unite. Yes.
I'm with that. Yes. Yes.
Absolutely. Like sometimes you just need like a group of people who are just like okay at the game. It's like I play video games. Yeah, I just want to enjoy the game.
Exactly.
But some games just don't really allow you that space.
Enjoy a game? What?
Exactly. It's like no, you're supposed to dominate it.
Ooh.
I don't know yet.
I mean, I know there's a random app. Well, that's the one I think Joe Schmo. I'm trying to remember. Whispering Eyes talked about. He mentioned that was more for like errands, I think, or like cashback for crypto. I don't remember if there's like a game. I feel like there has to be some like, maybe not like a big game, but I feel like you might get those like little like I always say when you get ads for these like games, and there's just like these like random like mindless games that you can play. Like it could be word games, or it could be just like whatever puzzle, like random puzzle things, and then you might be able to like earn like parts of crypto or get some kind of payout. Oftentimes they just do it for ads, and then you never get a payout. But hopefully there is a legit game, like a mobile app that you can actually like earn and get like micro, even like some Satoshi, where it's just like the little tiny fraction of a Bitcoin. Like that would actually be pretty good.
Yeah, I know that like that's more like they're like the Ethereum blockchain where like there are games like Axie Infinity where you have to like it's almost like pay to play, so you have to Axie Infinity is apparently very, very similar to Pokemon. And, but you have to like buy 3 like Axies. Let me actually like put it down. Axie Infinity. So yeah, you have to like purchase like these Axies, and then you can start playing, so you can like breed them, battle them, I guess like raise them and like train them and things like that. I've never played it. I was like really interested in doing that just to see how it is. But like apparently people, are making money off of playing Axie Infinity. There are other games like that, but like Decentraland is a pretty big one.
Okay.
Like they actually had like a currency called like, and you purchased a currency called mana. Like you could purchase it through like Coinbase and stuff like that. Like I purchased it like a long time ago, like when it was like less than $1 per thing. And then like with the whole metaverse meta crap that got big, like it went up to like $3 a share. And I was just like, I purchased maybe like $30 of it. Like it was just me like testing Coinbase and stuff like that. I don't know how much it even is worth now, but it was just sort of crazy. Like when I heard people like, oh, should I buy mana? And I'm like, no. Oh, it's going up? I didn't even realize that. So like, did I score big? No, my life didn't change at all. But like, it was, so that's like another thing, like Decentraland. I guarantee you there's going to be like more to come, but it almost seems like you have to like pay to get in, which I don't like that concept, because you see how expensive Ethereum is. I don't know how old Axie Infinity is, but that might just be a thing. Like in the future, you just play these games and you make money, and then you make money in the real world.
Here we go.
God, why are there so many words that start with the M? It's amazing.
Yeah, right. The metaverse comes. Talk about the metaverse.
Man, that would actually be fun. That would actually be a really fun idea. Thank you, Mish. That'd be dope.
Actually, because I've even seen like the conference I went to a few months ago or last month. They used to, I don't think they did it for this year, but last year, when you had a whole year in the pandemic, they made it virtual where you actually had an avatar and everything, and like you can make it more professional. Actually, they may have done a virtual thing like that this year too, but I didn't notice because I was there in person. But last year, that you could have like a virtual career fair, and you could get your avatar, and you could go to different booths. You can even like walk to different sessions. So I've like dismissed the metaverse as like, I don't even think I want to touch any of this, but I do think there could be some really interesting applications and use cases for when. I heard about SafeMoon. Maybe it's good that I didn't touch that, because
what exactly? Like I sort of heard, but like what exactly happened? If anyone can explain what happened with SafeMoon. Yeah, because I'm glad I didn't buy into it. Like, I don't even know why I didn't. I just didn't feel like it. I was like, I don't have, like this whole like cryptocurrency craze. It's just, like you're on Twitter and one sec people are like, buy this, and other group of people are like, buy this, buy that. And like, I don't know what the hell to buy. I don't know if I should buy anything. It's like it's hard. It's hard to figure out. But yeah, sorry, Toby, what were you saying?
What was I? Because I think I was wrapping up, but I was like, oh yeah, the metaverse. Like, there's different applications that actually, because I was just like, like random kids or random people just like, we're just in another, because like you have social media already where we get to like live virtually in a way. Not really live, but like you post your thoughts. So now I'm like, are we really gonna like get into like some headset, start interacting with each other? Like I don't know, it just seems like glorified Minecraft. Like I had thinking like, all right, we're gonna have a little Minecraft Steve avatar or something, and I'll do or whatever's. But I wasn't really with it. Like I did not have any desire for the metaverse, but I do think it could be cool for virtual events and like certain like things where you want to be kind of immersed in an experience, but you can't be there in person. Maybe certain festivals or certain other things. So yeah, if we actually like decide to go down that route and maybe test out the metaverse, that would be actually a fun stream to do at some point.
Right.
Our second year is coming up. That's a big thing.
Yeah. Very, very soon.
And there's another big thing, but I might have to set it off stream because no spoilers yet.
I think hey.
Hey.
Like how like TV shows, like The Daily Show or like late night shows or something, how they have like a live studio audience. I guess like with the metaverse, like when it comes to like podcasts and stuff like that, it could probably be like that too, where you're just like watching your people that you like just for free, because like why would you pay for that? But I'm sure they're gonna find a way to pay for it. How do you pay? I mean, I guess it would be like $5 or something. Be like, hey, I can watch myself. Yeah.
That is actually kind of interesting.
Yeah, I hurt my wrist rock climbing yesterday. Like, I think I might have sprained it. I was gonna mention it on Twitter, but I felt like a lot of people were super happy that I went rock climbing and like, oh, I want to go rock climbing, but I'm scared and I don't want to scare them more. So I don't really want to mention it yet. But yeah. Sorry about that. But just letting you all know, don't be afraid to rock climb. I'm my hand is still attached to my body, so I can still move it, as you can see. So it's fine.
Hey, and we got the watermelon head.
Yeah.
Oh, oh my gosh! I forgot to look up hint and see if I could find one. It's not on my brain. Like, there's not even a hint of a thought to think about this drink, except I
give you a hint. Here's a hint.
Yeah, right. Hold on. Somewhere over there, there's a hint.
Yeah, can you take a hint?
I'm trying.
There you go.
It's all just going over my head.
Literally.
Look at that. We got jokes for days, y'all.
Yeah.
Oh yeah. We got it. We got time. Look, we got time today. We got time today.
My addiction, I guess. These seltzer polar waters.
Shut up, Chad.
I don't think I know what the reference is.
I didn't go into the middle of nowhere and start and climb something. Like,
no. Is this the guy who cuts his arm off?
Yeah, it's the guy who cuts his arm off.
Yeah, I've always heard about the story. Yeah.
Yeah, he was stuck for 127 hours.
Oh my God.
Oh, yeah. He had to, his arm was stuck. But he survived. But no, like, my hands are still attached to my body. I wasn't even thinking of that movie when I said that. That's so funny. Yes, so I'm totally fine. Hopefully I'll be fine, and I want to go like rock climbing like at least like once a month, just to. But I guess I need to stretch or I don't know, do yoga before. I don't know what the hell you're supposed to do. whatever I didn't do, I need to do. So that's true. I would not get hurt in the metaverse. That's very true.
Mhm.
hmm And rock climbing would be so much easier, and I wouldn't be sweating. You are a fellow connoisseur of Polar Seltzer. That's hilarious.
Oh man.
Oh yeah. Yes. You already know. Gotta get it from the cafe. In the metaverse, Al, you won't get hurt. One could hurt you here. Sounds like some kind of like one of those like creepy like dystopian like you're in. I'm trying to think of a movie where it's like you're in this kind of like almost perfect space, but then when you kind of notice or you want to get out, things go wrong. And it's like no one could hurt you in the metaverse.
There's
I know
no.
one.
Oh,
They
what?
already made escape room movies. They're gonna make a metaverse movie soon.
Kind of. I mean, Sword Art online.
I never actually watched Sword Art. I've seen the first episode
Oh,
years ago,
yeah.
but never watched it for real. Oh wait. Oh, I can't wait.
Hold on.
Oh, is that because of the freaking wine and now this?
Oh man, that's hilarious.
It's like,
Wait.
yeah, you won't get hurt in the metaverse. I was thinking of like, there's no war in Ba Sing Se.
Oh yes,
There's no war in Ba Sing Se.
Julie. Or
I'll tell
Julie.
you.
The virtual cycling simulator. You use a few sensors to put on your bike, but it's not the same. That's true, because you're not really like feeling like the wind on, like, on your body, and going through and smelling things.
Yeah.
I never bothered to really finish Sword Art Online. Like I enjoyed it up until like the characters like got married, and I was like, this is stupid. I don't know. Like she like uses one of her like skills, like she buys a skill to learn like cooking or something. I was like, that's a waste of the skill. You can't even taste.
Oh.
But I don't know if you want to be a stereotypical wife online in the fucking future. Anyways, you could be anything.
You could be anything you wanted, and I chose wife. Domestic servitude. I mean,
your wife at home. Anyway,
but...
they got wife at home.
See, I got wife at home.
Man.
You got wife at home. Wife at home.
Yeah. So it'll become kind of campy at the end. That's what I heard. I heard like I just stopped watching it at a good time.
Yeah.
Um,
But I will say this though. I mean, because I've seen, I think I've seen all the episodes. The only one I haven't watched really is the Gun Gale Online, which is the side arc to
Sword Art.
the Sword Art Online, the Fatal Bullet. That's what it is. That might be the Game Boy, whatever. But Gun Gale Online is like a side arc to it. But no, like what Gil said is true. Like towards the end, yeah, it does get very campy. But Gun Gale. But as you keep watching the actual series, it actually it builds up upon itself. And so it's like, in order for you to understand the backdrop of one of these Sword Art shows, you will almost have to watch the one previous in order to get what's going on. So it's a slow build up. But again, I say once you get past, oh my gosh, yes. Well, once you make it past the soap opera stuff and whatnot, it tends to get better. Even the latest entry, holy crap, that one was amazing.
Yeah, I really need to get back into a lot of these shows, like anime that I just watched 1 or 5 episodes of and never got back to. So
You said which one?
just different ones. I like just different shows that I like would watch 1 or 5 episodes and then never got back. Like Sword Art was 1 episode. Full Metal Alchemist Brotherhood, amazing from the first 5 episodes I watched. Never got back to it because I always watch these with friends, and I never took the time.
Gotcha.
Assassination Classroom was like that. That one I kept trying to watch more and more of it, and it was very entertaining. I just never got past like episode 7 of season 1 to this day, and it's just a lot of random anime like that. So I just need to take some time and just like binge through because a lot of them are short too. Like Sword Art, I don't think is very long. Death Note is not long. Like a lot of these, I've never seen any of Death Note. I've never seen any of like.
I never finished Death Note either. I don't even know why. And I keep telling myself to finish I keep telling myself to finish. What's it called? I never finished Gurren Lagann. I haven't finished. What the fuck is it called? The character is Zero. Lelouch Rebellion.
Oh, I know what you're talking about.
Yeah.
Code Geass, yes.
Oh.
Code Geass, yeah. I don't know
Yeah,
why.
I've heard of Code Geass. That one was really popular.
Yeah, no, it was fantastic. Yeah, it's just like weird how like that happens, and then some anime you just like watch completely. Like, there's really no rhyme or reason.
I was happy to freaking finish reading Bleach. Like I had like 30 or 40 chapters left that I just never like. I got to, was it 2015? Probably 2016 or 17. Got to the last 34 chapters. Finally. I refuse to be the biggest nerd on the street. that might be hard, man. That might be hard. We're not associated to any of us because we embrace nerddom, but we're out here.
Yeah, I know.
Yes.
Or you could just, all of our powers combined, we could just create one huge nerd. So, which is, I thought, what we were going for this whole time.
Actually,
yes.
What's that thing from Power Rangers? I never watched Power Rangers much, so like the Zorg, something, combinatoric. I can't even. I don't know what it's called. So I'm BSing at this point.
Hold on, me. You're true.
Product of every nerd.
That is so true. Yes, so true.
That's true.
Yes,
that is
true.
That's the way to go. That's the way to go.
I need to watch.
Yes.
Fabulous.
Yes, that is so true.
Yeah. I remember hearing about light novels. I haven't heard that term in a while.
Yeah, I don't know if I ever heard of light novels.
Yes. Gil, you can stay. You better stay. You are not going nowhere until we close.
Yes.
That's the only time you can leave. Other than that, no, you park it.
I was Sword Art Online was originally a light novel.
Interesting.
That's good to know. That is very good to know.
I'm not even sure what a light novel is, actually.
I couldn't tell you either. I just assumed it was like kind of like a graphic, not like one long rather than multiple chapters. Like I thought maybe it's one long. Well, novels have chapters. I don't know. See, I couldn't really tell you. Chad is anime.
Why?
I don't even know. It's not even.
Gail's so disappointed right now.
Oh, yo. Chad is anime woke.
Oh my gosh. I'm done.
My bad. Like,
I thought I was coming on the stream to indulge in nerdness. These people
don't start gatekeeping now. We don't start gatekeeping. I'm leaving.
Yes. We're about to leave our own. Now we're gonna leave our own stream.
It's like, oh, you think you're into anime? Name every anime.
Oh my!
What was the first anime? Astro Boy.
Who executive
Think it's
produced
actually
Ghost in
true?
the Shell. Oh, yeah, it's actually interesting when you think about like those kind of, because I don't know much about Astro Boy. I just because of Death Battle, and there was a battle of Mega Man versus Astro Boy earlier this year. I was like watching the backstory of Astro Boy, and I feel like in the manga and anime, it's always darker than like the story that you would see kind of like in the cartoons. Like with Yu-Gi-Oh, don't even get me started on that. There was some like really crazy, creepy stuff with the Yami or whatever Yugi's pharaoh name was. Like the manga be crazy. Even like Pokemon is like people are like dying. I'm pretty sure like Pokemon are dying. People are dying. Like this is not your kids. Pokemon. This is not your kids.
Yeah, there we go.
It's you. I'm not gonna spoil the Death Battle, but watch it. It was fun to watch.
Yeah, I mean, I guess speaking of Astro Boy and, you know, going back in time. Because when was Astro Boy? I want to say it was the 60s or the 50s, but like,
oh, snap.
Of course. Yeah, no, it's old.
Ancient.
But of course, let's talk about the lack of black people. I know.
That's the whole thing.
Yeah, that's a whole other topic. Like we gotta have like a month topic on just like nerddom.
Nerddom, black nerd. The extraordinary journey of a black nerd group.
Yes.
Colorized. Pun half intended.
Extraordinary journey of a black. I love that. I like that group. I've been a part of it on Facebook for like years.
Yeah.
No, we definitely need to talk about that. But yeah, like so tonight's topic is unfortunately not about anime, which is sad. But it's about something great, which is not sad.
Yes.
Just, you know, going through like the history of comedy, like, you know, or certain aspects of comedy and, you know, like where it is now and where it's going today and things like that. It's not about anime. No. Unfortunately not, Gil.
You must be new here. Every time anime is mentioned on this stream, that is like the topic. Like, I look at me, I am the topic now, basically. Anime and video games. Mention those two in the stream. That's what the stream is now.
Yeah, no, it's true. It's true. Like,
facts.
Those are like our guilty pleasures. Like, you could just bait and switch.
Yeah, we got you. No.
It's like anime. We throw anime out and she's like, no, come back.
Ooh, hey! Jesse.
Hey. How's it going? Good to see you. Thank you for joining.
Subscriber you're trying to reach.
Actually, like the hairy like neck beard guy. Like, actually. Well, actually.
Gil said, I'm a peace out though.
No,
the subscriber you're trying to reach is not available.
If you find this error, if you find this message an error, hang up and try your call again.
It's like 404 not found. Like,
Oh man. Yes, I love it here.
Yes.
I do too.
Yes.
Love it here.
Love it here. But yeah, I'm sorry for being the bearer of bad news.
Nah.
We're going to be talking about comedy.
Comedy of errors. Yes.
Comedy of errors, yeah. No, true. But yeah. I did want to talk about, I mean, if we want to go like way the fuck back to like Shakespeare, and there was only like tragedies and comedies to write, like in plays. There was probably like another topic, but I don't know. They never taught me that in high school. I mean, they didn't teach me a lot of things in school, but they never taught me about a third type of, you know, theatrical form of writing. We're talking about comedy.
They doth told me to throw it back. about.
I'm sorry, we're talking about comedy now. The history of comedy, like a
Oh man.
very cliff noted version of history of comedy. So
Very much.
tragedies, as you all know, end in tragedy. Like it was always a death. Romeo and Juliet, for example, is a form of a tragedy. I mean, some people can find it to be kind of comical because who was it? Juliet faked her own death, and then Romeo was like, "Oh shit, she's dead." Then he died, and then Juliet woke up and saw that her husband, I think they were married, or like her boo thing, her man,
Who thinks?
was like dead next to her, and then she killed herself, and then I mean, I guess she should have just told Romeo that she was faking her own death, but I mean, I guess she couldn't do that. Like they didn't have like texting back then, but but seriously, Romeo and Juliet is a tragedy. Hamlet, I can't remember if that was a comedy or a tragedy. I do know that. Which one was with like Othello? Othello, I believe, was a tragedy.
Yeah, I heard that one. I never saw that one, but read it. But Hamlet is apparently it's a tragic comedy. It's like a tragedy, but there's a lot of humor. I never read Hamlet. That's a perfect time for it to be Toby or not Toby joke, but it's fine.
Tragedy meets comedy.
Oh my god!
I love it. I love it. I love it.
It never stops. I love it.
Julius Bay is dead.
That's true. I think that one might have been a comedy.
Yeah.
I know 12th Night's a comedy. That's like the most famous one that I can think of. But 12th Night is like that's it.
Yeah, 12th Night was a comedy. Yeah, it's the only one I can like really think of. There was, I guess, yeah, Hamlet was a tragic comedy.
Yeah, Taming of the Shrew was a comedy. I feel like I do need to go read some of these because I'm like I've never seen like half of these plays.
It's nothing. I guess like the new Romeo and Juliet movie with like Leonardo DiCaprio, that's comedic.
Yeah.
But it was anyway. So comedies would end in marriage, and tragedies would end in death. And I guess I don't know, like back then, marriage is a joke. Like
Still is. That's I guess that like, Ron's out here happily cuffed, but he said was a joke.
Marriage is a joke.
Tony got jokes. I got you.
Yeah,
Tony.
no, we gotta push some boundaries tonight.
Oh, okay. That's interesting. It's like my name is actually based off of one of my favorite Mitch Hedberg's jokes, where he goes, "How does this joke go?" He's like, "Oh, I used to do drugs. I mean, I still do drugs, but I used to too." So it's just like, oh, it used to be funny. I mean, I still am, but I used to be too. But yeah, that's because like Mitch Hedberg has such a weird. I shouldn't say weird. It's just very different kind of one-liners because he's very like. I don't know. He's like very weird. He's a weird guy. He's like a weird, lovable guy. So that's really cool. That's how your wife got into stand-up comedy. It was through Mitch Hedberg. Like, no, kudos. And Bill Burr. Bill Burr, I can understand more so. Mitch Hedberg is, I feel like he's like an acquired taste.
That's interesting.
Huh.
So, and yeah, I didn't know that Macbeth. Actually, I liked we read that my senior year of high school. I actually liked Macbeth a lot. Like that's the first time I read it, and I don't know. It was easy to follow. It was it was just so unfortunate because it's like, is this guy a hero? Because I think he's just murdering people. But like, it was kind of entertaining. Gonna make a venue. Is that a quote from?
I think Mitch Hedberg. That definitely sounds like him.
I need some good stand-ups because I've never really properly watched a lot of like the classics.
Mitch Hedberg also has a joke about like a friend asked him, like, "Hey, do you want a frozen banana?" And he was like, "No, but I would like a banana later. So yeah." I guess so. Like, frozen banana will become just a regular banana later. I'm about to lose all my belt. I don't really know what's happening to him. Who is the real hero? Yes.
Wow.
That's hilarious. So yeah, like for whatever reason, comedies were always ended in marriage. I guess like something that's just happy, and so which I guess gets people to smile. So that's just like what it was back in the day. From then till I don't know sitcoms because I don't really know what was going on between that, and I'm not going to try to convince y'all. I'm going to start making shit up. I'm sure there were other like theatrical comedies, and then maybe like the Three Stooges sort of thing where people just sort of hit each other on stage, and that provided comedic relief to people and things like that. I remember hearing like that was supposed to be some sort of relief of like sexual energy or sexual tension. I heard like hitting people. So that's what the Three Stooges were for. I heard that many moons ago. I don't know how true that was. Yeah. So like there were like the Three Stooges, and then like from I don't know, I'm just making up a weird fucking timeline. I actually don't even know. But like I do want to start talking like, I guess getting more so into like sitcoms because one of like the first syndicated first syndicated show or a show that had like reruns was I Love Lucy. With like Lucille Ball, who was an absolute fucking genius when it came to just like TV and comedy. Because like she essentially was able to create the rerun because back then TV shows were shot live, like live in front of a live studio audience, but like you just have to tune in at that time and watch it, and then that was it. So there was no such thing as like a rerun really. But I don't know if it was like, don't quote me on this, I'm just like assuming based on like the timing of things, she probably used like the same sort of film as like in theaters, like in movie, because the movies were created back in like the 1800s if I'm not mistaken. So like movies were around. Like, don't quote me on this. Sorry if I didn't do my my best like research on this, y'all. But like I don't know, but she was able to like they're able to get something to record each episode. So the great thing about that was if they messed up on something, they can just go back and reshoot it. Mm-hmm. If they like I guess they were also able to, I guess like commercials were always there too, but like because they were able to record it, that was like then they were able to create reruns of shows. So they would just be able to record it once and be able to play it at like a later day at a later time, which was like revolutionary for TV back then. So that was a super super fantastic thing. And this was something that a woman came up with, a woman created, I don't want to say normalized, but made mainstream essentially. Mm-hmm. Of course, this was like a couple, I don't think they had any children, if I recall correctly. They, yeah, I don't think they had any children. She was married to a Latino man, so that was also like a big thing because that's an interracial relationship, and I believe that was her real husband.
Actually, no. According to the what was it? Because I know the missus, she was watching the it was a not it was a docuseries on Lucille Ball when she was creating I Love Lucy. And the thing was she did have a kid. And what she was trying to do was paint the picture when she was shooting I Love Lucy that she was pregnant. Like they were going to play that she was pregnant, but in all actuality, like she was legit pregnant. And so what the producers wanted to do was try to like to hide the baby bump because it was one of those things that shouldn't be seen on TV because back then Americans were like, you know, I wouldn't say no, I'm gonna say it like this. Back then Americans were sheltered a lot. And so it would just pretty much mess up the whole status quo. But she was very much kind of like adamant on like, no, I want to have this baby and I want to be able to showcase what it is to
Oh, really?
Yeah, like, you know, and show that, I can still do my job and raise a kid too. And then to Julia's point, like she wasn't all that great of a mom. but the creativity behind that was way up there. It was like, okay, we get what you're trying to do. You're trying to incorporate real life situations into your TV show and make it feel as authentic as possible and like let people know like this is what folks is doing. Yeah.
Definitely, chat. Share your favorite stand-up comedian in the chat. Rocky asked this question. What's everyone's favorite comedian?
Yes.
I feel like it's controversial to say. It was, like when I was like doing stand-up, like when I was learning back in like 2016, 2017, my biggest influence was Louis C.K. And so that's like controversial. Like it's but like like what he did was just like but I mean, he did come out with a stand-up album, like a recent comedy album that won a Grammy. I think that was the most recent thing, which I guess I could listen to because I mean the Grammys like it was allowed to like go into like the Grammy Academy or something. It's like, oh, listen to this. You got to listen to it. It's like it's the best one. We got to award it. Yeah, so with Lucille Ball, not so many laughs at home. Oh man, feels a feminist way to keep working. She was gonna say Will Smith. No, Will Smith never did stand-up comedy. Yeah, he was never a stand-up comedy. He was just a rapper.
And then
and he became an actor because like Quincy Jones, brought him on because he was like, I guess I don't know if Quincy Jones is also from West Philadelphia, or something like that. But Quincy Jones brought on Will Smith to be pretty much like the lead of the Fresh Prince of Bel-Air.
Super cool. Actually, and I like so many things you said. I just kind of like resonated with, or I could like even the Louis C.K. thing. It was like it's hard to answer the question because I didn't really listen to a lot of stand up or comedy. I don't know. I feel like it was a very censored household, and like among my friends, I didn't necessarily do a lot of like I don't know actually listening to comedy, but I know when I got to college, which is like probably sadly like this was 2012, that's maybe the first time I really knew who Kevin Hart was. And I'm not saying he's my favorite, but like I definitely found a lot of like I had a lot of laughs for like the Laugh at My Pain special. That's when he was like you're gonna learn today, and like a lot of other like very iconic quotes are from she wasn't ready. I don't know, I was just like, okay, I can kind of vibe with a lot of this, but I never really went back to watch more his older stuff or even really later stuff. So I don't know. That's kind of when I started discovering people like Aziz Ansari and other people, and I would hear some pieces of some of their stuff, but I never got a really really good picture of a lot of their stand up. But some of them did come to UMBC for like our homecoming shows. It was either homecoming or usually it was homecoming. So I think we had like Bo Burnham, who like pretty entertaining. He came and he did a show in 2015. I think we had Nick Offerman in 2014, which was cool. I never watched what's that show called, Parks and Rec, but like I recognize his face very much.
Aziz Ansari.
Nick Offerman.
Oh, he did stand up. I didn't even know.
Well, at least he did it that night. I mean,
okay.
He was like, I'm not really good at like making jokes and being funny, but I am good at telling stories and talking very slowly. And I don't know, the room just like laughed and burst into applause because just the way he was talking and telling his stories, it was just like it was a lot. It was a little bit controversial too for some people because he was like giving 10 tips on life, and one of them he was like, here's advice, and one of them was like, I have a relationship with Jesus Christ. And like a few people in the crowd were like, woo! And he was like, if it gets you laid. And then everyone like burst into laughter and started clapping. And he talked about being in Jesus camp as a teen and fornicating all over the park and the campsite. Basically, he hooked up with someone. He was like, we fornicated all over the benches and fornicated across the grass. And I'm like, this is so not right. but I was just laughing. So Nick Offerman, I guess he was kind of a surprise, like, comedic act. Because obviously he's in TV, but I'd never heard of him doing stand-up either. And we also had what's the guy from BJ Novak. This is really sad because I did not watch The Office back then, so I had no idea what that was. But Ryan from The Office, he was our first. I think in 2012 he did this show. We also had Kenan Thompson, which was kind of fun because it's a throwback to like Nickelodeon days and other stuff. And that was around the time a lot of stuff with Bill Cosby was happening. So Bill Cosby hadn't been found guilty yet. Oh, that's so bad timing. Because he at one point was saying like, oh, this was a few years before the Bill Cosby stuff. So quick story. He told us like, he was like, and I quote, he said like, yeah, Bill Cosby, he's like, I guess maybe someone asked him what's the craziest thing you heard in the show business. And he was like, yeah, like Bill Cosby pulled me one side and said, bro, you're gonna need 2 dicks because the women are gonna be all over you or something. And all of us like in the crowd were like, what? And this was like a few years before he was accused. So at the time we're just like, what the heck? Bill Cosby said that to bring in Kenan Thompson? Like what? And like at some point, because he was talking, he could still hear the murmuring in the car. He's like, okay, like guys, like Bill Cosby's not a bad guy. It's just he kind of said that one thing, and it was a one-off, which unfortunately has not aged very well now that I think about it. But because when the accusations against him happened, I started thinking about, like didn't years ago he say something? Kenan Thompson say that. Like it's not funny, obviously, because of like the whole situation, but it is kind of funny that like he was not like your little friendly grandpa. Like he was very explicit and vulgar in different ways. So the Kenan Thompson show was kind of funny because of some of what he was revealing. But like I never like personally on my own really went to listen to a lot of their stand-ups. I just had various encounters where maybe they did a few shows, or I had friends who would put on different people. We had what's the guy? Herman, he's a black guy. Is his name Herman? I don't remember. He was a guy who apparently started some of the accusations against Bill Cosby. his name, it might not be Herman, but it was this black guy. He has glasses, and he's a little bit quirky. I'm gonna find him. Someone can take over because I need to find this guy. And what's gonna bother me for the rest of the night?
Yeah, no, I don't even know. Was it Hannibal?
Hannibal Buress. Thank you.
Oh, really? Okay.
Yeah, Hannibal Buress came.
I don't know if he started like the accusations against Bill Cosby. Really?
Well, I guess he was one of the people who was there, like posting things about it or something like that, and because like that was like 2015, so that was actually very much around the time that everything with Bill Cosby was heating up, and so he didn't spend most of the show talking about it. But at one point, he was like, he's like, yeah, okay, Bill Cosby. He was like, this is crazy because I kind of like was talking about like things that he heard about Bill Cosby, basically, drugging people, raping people, and that's led me to having consensual sex all across the country. It's like, or something like that. So obviously,
wow.
He said something like, yeah, that's led me to having consensual sex all across the country. And he did a piece on the stage where he basically was like, I wish like, we could be like rappers where we just like, we just like play sets of our songs and every few words we chime in. So he like played one of his stand-up. He kept saying the word mustache a lot. I don't know what it was, but he would play like a piece of a stand-up and he would just let it play. And then he would just hop in and say like mustache, or like other words. So he was like, as stand-up comedians, I wish we could have a job as easy as rappers where we just go to concerts and basically don't even perform our own songs. So Hannibal Buress was pretty entertaining, but I never listened to his stuff outside of that one show. So I don't know. Hopefully one day I'll have a favorite stand-up comedian, but as of now, it's very indeterminate. The last thing I'll say though was Doug Stanhope. My friend, like my friend was telling me about him back in college, and he was like, yeah, like apparently he had a piece where he's like before stage, like he's like, I do drugs before stage, before coming on stage. I drink when I'm coming up with my jokes. He's like, Jesus might have died for your sins, but I'm here killing myself for your guys' entertainment.
That's good. That's good.
That's awesome.
It's like, oh my God. So I never listened to him, but I was like, okay, he kind of seems in the category of George Carlin, like very, pushing all the boundaries, very much like, saying some things that might be politically incorrect, but like, I could like respect that kind of angle. And I did like Louis C.K. Like I actually saw a bunch of his things, and
I saw
very much things where it's like, probably should be laughing at this. But it was just like so. It was clever, and I had to tip my hat off to him.
Yeah, no, like I liked because he was. Yeah, no, like I felt like he was definitely like an observational comedian, kind of like in a way like Jerry Seinfeld and Dimitri Martin. Like they're observational, and they sort of like kind of like point out things that are just sort of like weird and stupid, and it's like, why is that? So that's always been like, like my inspiration. Neil Brennan, I love. Dave Chappelle, of course. Who else? Eliza Schlesinger. I like a lot. Amanda Seals. Also, I want to shout out Chad, who's one of his favorite stand-up comedians is a woman comedian, Taylor Tomlinson, who is absolutely fucking excellent. If you like, she has like I think 2 specials on Netflix, so definitely check them out. Yeah, no, she's really good, and she's young too. I think she's like mid 20s, like 26, 27. But she's absolutely excellent. No, it's like I don't know. I just love stand up. I listen to like anybody and everybody, and like just try to see like kind of like where they're coming from. Yeah. Like, I'll definitely think of more names. Like if you see, I don't know if it's called the stand-ups or the comedians or the, I don't know. Like there's like some jokes. Like there's like a 30-minute episode like series of comedians on Netflix. I think it's called the stand-ups or the comedians or something like that. Janelle, I think her name's Janelle James. She plays the principal on Abbott Elementary. If you've seen Abbott Elementary yet.
I've been hearing about it a lot the past few weeks, but never seen.
Oh, Abbott Elementary is hilarious.
It
It's
is.
actually a show that I should like put to the top of my queue because I've been hearing really good things.
Yeah, no, it's fantastic. You know, it's like I think like Rotten Tomatoes gave it like a perfect score or something, like sort of I don't know, like it got one of like the highest ratings in the show because there's literally like nothing wrong with the show. Like there's people who complain about it are just trying to complain about something because they don't get comedy or like situational humor. Makes you think and doubt your stance on things. I'm super flexible, liberal, but my comic makes me cool. I agree. Yeah, that's one of the things that I really, really love too. Who's yeah. And one of the best clean comics of all time. Yeah. No, clean comics, like, they definitely need to get like more recognition. You know who's a great clean comic? Kevin James. He was, from like the King of Queens. Like, he's been in like some other stuff. He was like the Mall Cop. Like, he does excellent clean comedy. And for anybody out there who's trying to get into comedy and trying to do stand-up, definitely start with clean comedy first because you get picked up anywhere. It's easy for a clean comic to become dirty. It's very hard for a dirty comic to become clean. So
I actually never heard that term exactly, but I know, like, especially if you're in a Christian household or religious, it's normal to kind of like maybe see certain like things that are family friendly, but I hadn't heard of it so much in the secular sense where you just have a clean comic. I think that's actually really fascinating, and I will look some up because you can share them with anyone. You can you can kind of like go into any space, right?
Yeah, who's like a modern day clean comic is that black dude Kev on Stage.
Yes.
Oh my gosh, Kev.
Yes.
Okay, yeah, he is actually hilarious.
Right. So like, and I didn't really know he was a clean comic. Funny enough, he actually sort of stole my viral tweet. But like people in Twitter were like screenshotting my viral tweet and like commenting underneath his.
Really?
But like, I don't know. But that's like the thing about comedy though. Like, it's like, can you steal? Like, it's very possible that he just didn't see it and he came up with it himself. Like, I could give him the benefit of the doubt because there was another person. Like when my viral tweet went viral, like somebody else commented their own tweet that was similar. It's like, I didn't see yours, lady. Like, like in a way, there's like only so many like things in the world. Yes, Kevin James First Sweat the Small Stuff. Fantastic. I love it.
That one up.
Yeah, it is like start to finish beautiful. Absolutely like fantastic. But but it's true. Like there's only like so many like things to kind of draw from sometimes. Like even like the basis of my viral tweet was just from like seeing just like a whole bunch of things, and I just sort of like compounded it into that tweet that I think it was going to go viral. Absolutely fucking not. Like, but it just blew up for some reason.
Yes, Tony Baker. Yes,
Richard Pryor.
Yes.
George Carlin. Kathleen Madigan. Okay. Ooh, Cedric the Entertainer. Fantastic. Phenomenal. Absolutely phenomenal. One of my favorite jokes from his was on like a pretty recent special of his too, probably within the past like 3-4 years. He had like a joke about like when you're getting old and like I don't know, like he was like, and like your body just starts to just like give out randomly. He was like, yeah, I was pouring some cereal that my knee gave out. And he was like, oh shit, I guess I gotta stop messing with these Cheerios. Like, well, that shit just like happens. Oh my god.
Oh man. Oh man.
No, I feel you. I feel you, Gil.
Yeah. Yeah.
No.
I was gonna say too, like I don't have any like favorites. I have a lot that I like. I'm surprised nobody mentioned Dane Cook and a lot of his a lot of his older stuff. I remember the one had me crying in tears was when he was talking about the Kool-Aid Man and how the Kool-Aid Man would come through the door, would come through his wall. And what he did was he took that joke and made it into a like an animated short. It was hilarious. Oh man, I cried. Imagine I'm like a kid. I'm like, Dane Cook is awesome. Oh, I love it. I love it. So yeah, Dane Cook, he's not my favorite, but man, I can listen to him and cry all day just from laughing. Kev on Stage, Tony Baker, especially when Tony Baker does like a lot of the voiceovers for the animals. Yes, I love it. Love it, love it, love it, love it. And even then, Chappelle, Bernie Mac, Eddie Murphy, like a lot of the older guys, Richard Pryor, yes. A lot of the older guys. Again, yes, for sure, for sure. Now, the one who surprised me, who I haven't had a chance to listen to, but I ought to listen to, is George Carlin. George, I have not. And I never figured him as a comedian because I grew up watching him on Shiny Time Station on PBS. So it never computed with me like he was an actual comedian. I'm like, George Carlin's not a comedian. Like, there's no way. Until as I got older and realized he's a comedian, I'm like, oh, he's a comedian. Like, okay. Mm-hmm. So that's one guy who I'm pretty much going to end up watching him sometime this week, just so I can say like, okay,
yeah,
got it.
Like I think about like some of his jokes like all the time, just like how he like points things out, and it's just like. Like it just makes like a whole lot of sense. Like this, like the joke that I think about probably at least once a week that just kind of keeps me sane is no, Dane Cook is not Christian God. One of the jokes I think about, like one of George Carlin's jokes I think about like at least once a week is think about how stupid the average person is. And then like realize that half of people are stupider than that. Like, just telling a joke about getting someone friends and making. Yeah. Ooh. Yeah. I mean that's comedy for you. You gotta push the envelope.
Yeah.
Look, an impact on comedy with those keeper distance shows, and this app is fun. It's an app. Okay.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. His app is lovely.
Oh, I did look
app is.
Okay. What into? One of us having aspect of stand up. Yeah. I feel like Dave Chappelle is like the George Carlin of today. Because of just like how his jokes are just like they really just kind of make you think, and that's that's like the I don't know. I guess it's like the darker side of comedy because it's like like why comedians are always like on some sort of drugs, dying early, committing suicide. is because like you like, and I mentioned this before, it's like you have to, like take real shit, like real hard to swallow pills, and then make it funny. Have people laugh, and it's like, it's hard. Like, like sometimes I think of jokes and I'm like, it's like, it's like, oh, if I make a joke, like a race joke, am I gonna become like that comedian that always like talks about race? It's like I don't really always want to do that, but it's like, I don't know, it's just always there, like. Like there was one joke like one thing that I've always kind of wanted to form into a joke is like, of course, like we can all agree that like police officers don't have enough training or something, because when you can watch a video and see like a 16-year-old girl using like a knife from Applebee's trying to defend herself, and the police shoots her, and you're like, well, yeah, if I like, what else would he do in that situation? I would have done the same thing. Like you as a civilian, you as a regular person would have done the same thing as a police officer. You, an untrained person, who would most likely be the person who's holding, like the little girl holding the Applebee's knife, you would most likely be that person in a situation. Put yourself in the shoes of a cop. You're literally saying that you have the same experience as a cop.
Wow.
You have the same training as a cop. That's exactly what you're saying. Like, if you're on, like, if you heard of like, what's his name? Sully, I think, who landed the plane in the Hudson River. Like, you, as not a pilot, if you could have thought of something better, like with all the video footage of seeing the plane that landed in the Hudson River, if you could have thought of something better, please share. But if you're saying that this like commercial airline pilot, it's like, oh, best thing he could do. Of course, that's what he fucking did. I'm not trying to say that, but like you're looking at the body cam footage of a police officer and you're like, yeah, I would do the same thing. It's like, no, that's the whole problem in this country, that you would have done the same thing. You're not supposed to do the same thing.
Supposed to be unique, supposed to be different.
Exactly. No. So I want to try to make that into a joke somehow.
There you go.
All agree that they don't have enough training. That's literally what you're saying. But yeah, I'm sure I was trying to like workshop it and make it into like a cute little nugget.
No, I feel you, because like doing stand up is like a terrifying type of thing, especially because I'm not like, I feel like I'm not like vulgar enough, or like I don't necessarily have like that. Like I definitely can make dark jokes. Like, oh my goodness, like I didn't post on this on my Instagram. I posted on my Snapchat. I can definitely make some jokes that are not like completely great. Like when last week when what's his name? God, why can't I remember his name? The comedian who had just died. Voice from Aladdin, Digit from Cyberchase, Gilbert Gottfried. So may he rest in peace. And I guess he had made like a 9/11 joke, and I actually had no idea. Like I was looking at his Wikipedia just to kind of get a sense of some of the stuff he had done, because I didn't know anything of his comedy career except like the animated stuff that I knew growing up. Mm-hmm. So apparently people didn't like the 9/11 joke he did, and like the crowd like hissed at him. This was like 3 weeks after 9/11, which is kind of crazy. And then he did some other joke to get things back on track. And so he was able to save it. And I was like, well, dang, the audience really didn't like that joke. The punchline must have flown over their heads. Really, very touchy. Very touchy.
Oh, man.
The thing is, though, I don't usually make 9/11 jokes, but like I saw some when I was in high school, and I was like, oh my God, you guys are all going the plane is like a first class ticket to hell because it's just like insane. Like some of the jokes, even that one was like not as bad as it could have been, to be honest. But I was just like, yo, I could really be out here like tweeting and like doing all kinds of crazy wild things, but I usually keep any of those darker jokes in my head. But sometimes I'm like, what if I just like created a space to just like workshop just the various jokes and other things. Yeah, he saved it with the aristocrats, which I actually have heard of it, but I don't think I've heard of the aristocrats joke, but I don't know if I've actually heard it in full. But I've always heard like a reference to it. But yeah, no, like, and I still have to watch if you have any of it public. I have to like look at the stuff that you've done, like your stand-up material or whatever.
Man, he's gonna throw her right on the spotlight. Spotlight.
Oh no, I'm not saying that you need to like put on like something now. Just
it's like you should be able to see it if you go to the link in my bio.
hey.
You should be able to. You should see it.
I'm done. Oh man, yes, that's it. Do what you got to do.
I mean, my shit's old though, like, but whatever. It still exists.
Yes. I mean, it's all good. Some things hopefully don't age, or I'll just put myself back in the time when you said them for maximum effect.
You know, I do want to, like, but no, like, I definitely want to highlight this a lot because, like, Mish, I'm not, like, I personally think anyone could do stand up. I do think it's good that you do recognize this. Like, I can only be funny in conversation. I need someone else to say something for me to turn into a pun. Because like there's a lot of people who just get a massive inflated ego who go up on stage and then suck ass. Like they go on stage and just because you know, like they go to parties and like you know they have conversations and like they're laughing and like you know girls are laughing and blah 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 and it's like oh you know I'm funny and I'm really funny and it's like, yeah, you should do stand up. And like, you know, like regular, you know, Joes would just be like, you should do stand up. And it's like, yeah. And they go and try to create a joke, and then the joke is garbage. And then every other joke is garbage because they don't have like a punchline or like a good enough premise. And then like they go up on stage and they're like, that was funny. There's like, you should laugh. It's like, it's a joke, guys. And like no, you just suck. Like the audience is telling you the truth. You suck. You get instant feedback. You know, either they laugh or they don't. So it's like if you go on stage and people laugh, okay, like what you said was funny. If you go on stage and everything you say and you get no laughs or people like boo you till you get off stage or you know you just get like really awkward silence. You're probably not good at this, and that's fine. Like, or you can try to get good, but it's very easy to just like quit. Like, I mean, I haven't gone to open mic in like God knows how long, like 2019, and before that was probably like a year or two. Like, it's hard. Like, you know, it really is. Like, I'm not trying to sugarcoat it. I mean, I wasn't going to try to be up here and sugarcoat and be like, oh yeah, you know, you're going to love it. It's going to be great. It's like, yeah, it's only great when people laugh.
Yeah. I forget who it was, but there was some famous comedian or something going, maybe it was like an article, but someone was saying like, yeah, like before they got their big break, like there was a time where they were just doing stand up and like minutes were passing, 5 minutes. No one was laughing at anything. And I'm like, that has to be like the most terrifying feeling. Like nothing is landing. You don't really know how to bounce and recover. You don't have that time where people are laughing and you kind of use it to like transition to the next thing. I'm like, that just sounds like not fun at all. But I do think it's very interesting. Like, yeah, like the art of stand up and like how like you know who kind of can do it. How do you do it? And there's different styles for sure, but
Oh, man.
Oh yeah, and that's actually a big thing too. Like if you can incorporate comedy into like sermons or like youth groups, Bible studies,
Mhm.
or anything like that. Even politics. I mean, if you remember on the campaign trail, like that was a way you can break out on the debate stage, Andrew Yang and all that stuff. It's like there's something so nice about like inserting comedy into situations that in itself are not necessarily comedic, but like being able to like tell truth. Marianne Williamson also, um, that's like a really cool thing. That's like a nice skill to have. Same thing like if you're an educator, right? Being able to make things entertaining, lecturing, not just like the dad jokes that the professor jokes that no one's laughing at but you, but like you actually can kind of engage the crowd. That would be like super dope. But it's like as a comedian, I don't know, that's a lot. Like I'm not sure I could pull it off, but I do want to get more into the art. So yeah,
Yeah, it's comedic career.
I didn't know about that.
What?
Yeah, Ti is going into the comedy arena, and it's not the best thing in the whole wide world.
That's awkward.
Yeah, like acting, okay, you know, acting's pretty okay. It's not the best, but it's okay.
Mm.
And the music career thing, he has it solid. Business, good. Comedy, probably need to go back to the drawing board.
Yeah, he's too kind. He shouldn't be like with all like the fucking problems he's got going on with his family. Like apparently, like he takes like his I think like now 18, maybe 19-year-old daughter to like a special gynecologist to check on her hymen. Just to make sure she's a virgin. It's like, how do you still believe in that fucking fairy tale myth of the hymen determining if you're a virgin?
Oh man.
Oh jeez. Oh my goodness. And it's like, why do you want her to stay a virgin? And like your son could just do whatever. We still believe in that fucking bullshit. He's not open to Chris. Then how are you gonna get better? Because criticism from like peers or like even like a YouTube channel is way less painful than going on stage in front of people and no one laughing. Like, or when the laughs are like, I guess like not congruent with your jokes, like they're not in sync with your jokes. Because like they're laughing at you and not with you.
Jeez, that's hurtful.
Yeah, it's like somebody in the back could say something funny. You're on stage, you don't hear it, and then they start laughing, and you're not even finished with the joke, but you're probably like, "Oh, they know where this is going." Ha ha ha! Yeah. Well, it's like, no, we're not laughing at you. We're not laughing with you. We're laughing at you. Someone just said something funnier than what the fuck is going on stage. But whatever. Ti, you know more than me, so.
Yep, I leave that arena alone.
You said Jamie about to bridge. I guess that's her boyfriend.
Oh, interesting.
That's funny. Now that's comedy.
When Chad brought up the Seinfeld like opening, like Seinfeld, I did want to like briefly like talk about Seinfeld because I do think, in addition to him being a fantastic comedian, he also co-created like one of the greatest sitcom television series of all time, Seinfeld. Along with Larry David. It was, I want to say like the first, I think I may have mentioned this before on the stream too, like Seinfeld was the first sitcom where it wasn't like based around a family, because before you had like Married with Kids, All in the Family, The Cosby Show, The Jeffersons, what's it called? Good Times, Different Strokes, et cetera, so on and so forth. Family. Whereas Seinfeld, as you all know, is like about four New York friends just going through life in New York. They're like in like their late 20s, early 30s at the time. So it's just like an interesting dynamic. And, you know, when asked what the show was about, they're like, the show about nothing, because it's really not about anything. It's just life. Just like weird dynamic things where that just, you know, like silly everyday things that we can all relate to, but sometimes it's just like, you know, exaggerated for comedic effect. But it was also great because, you know, Jerry Seinfeld played a comedian on the show, and he was an actual comedian in real life. And I feel like it's one of like the few shows where, you know, a comedian turns it into a TV show and it became very big and like it stuck. So I feel like Seinfeld, I mean, I don't feel like I know. Seinfeld definitely revolutionized sitcoms. So, you know, that definitely branched out in terms of just friends together in you know, situational comedy, a sitcom. So I came out like Friends, How I Met Your Mother, then pretty much just like sitcoms that we know today. Like it was just like a massive shift in that paradigm. Girlfriends, et cetera, and so forth. Let's see what Rocky is saying. T.I. does comedy now. Like last week, pulled up at a club, and just forced his way into doing a 30-minute bit. Then was called out the next comic when she made a joke on him. Good on her. Fuck yeah. Did a 30-minute bit. That must have been fucking painful. It looked like he was good. Does Martin predate Seinfeld? I don't think so. I think Martin was after Seinfeld.
Yeah, I missed Martin like completely. Like I at least knew of other shows that were like, you know, like The Family Matters and obviously Fresh Prince and like Cosby and all that, but Martin was not something I knew about like at all until like I got to how old was I? It had to have been like college age. And I was like, Martin. Because I knew who Martin Lawrence was or whatever, but I never knew that there was a whole show called Martin. I was like, what? So yeah.
Yeah, the Seinfeld does predate Martin. Martin was 1992, Seinfeld was 1989.
Okay. Right into the 90s.
Oh, so many cameos. Yeah, I was trying to wonder what you were trying to say. Has so many cameos. Are you talking about like the app cameos? So I think there's like an app called Cameo, right? Or like you can hire a famous person to like say something like happy birthday to your brother, and like they say your brother name, or is it like, oh, you're talking about cameos in terms of like famous people cameos.
Like cameos on other shows, right? Like crossovers or something?
I think people coming on to Seinfeld, rather.
Oh, okay.
Right. I think that's what that is. I think that's what Gil's trying to say. But
I can see that.
Yeah, no, there was. Like, I haven't finished watching Seinfeld. Like, I was like on like a pretty big Seinfeld binge because, you know, like when it came out on Netflix, and I just like never really watched Seinfeld, and I've always wanted to because like all your favorite comedians has watched it. You know, that's like your favorite comedian's favorite sitcom. And so, you know, I wanted to watch it to like kind of just like understand like the cadence and, you know, just like the comedic aspect of it, and, you know, just to appreciate like a really transformative sitcom, you know, like in TV history. And like I feel like it sort of in a way had like the same like transition effect that like I Love Lucy did. You know, so I definitely wanted to see that. So I was like, let me actually like watch Seinfeld. And of course, like, it's old, so it's like, okay, I have to like get over that hump, which isn't, so it's like, okay, let me watch it. But it is hilarious. I feel like it's very like timeless. You just have to get over some of, like the old shit. Like, because of course, if you go back in time now and watch like an old show, you're going to, you're going to see some shit that's not PC. But it was like politically correct at the time, or still probably just pushing the envelope of political correctness. So it wasn't too good. Let me see what.
And yes, actually, you're correct, Rocky. I did not see the Jamie Foxx show. I forgot that was even a thing. That's not something I knew about in real time as I was a kid growing up, but I have heard of it. But no, that was definitely not a thing that I saw. But that reminds me, something about Chappelle. Not to derail your thing, because like everything you're saying is very valid and interesting.
No, it's good. Thanks, Toby.
No, I don't mean that sarcastically. I just feel bad to like taking it in a different tangent. But I know like with the Chappelle show, that's one of the things I do remember watching some of like with my siblings, like just a few episodes. Oh my gosh. And I'm like, yo, this man is wilding. But like I didn't know about Dave Chappelle and like how he like left and went to like Africa and did all this other stuff. Like I really didn't know the history and like a lot of things until I was much older, like 21 or so. And I was like, dang.
I love that episode. I loved it. Not that there's anything wrong with it. Like, so the episode that Chad is referring to in Seinfeld was there's an episode where a writer, like a journalist, thought Seinfeld and George was a gay couple, and so this made dating obviously difficult for George and Jerry, and every time somebody would be like, it's like, Jerry, I heard that you're gay. He's like, we're not gay, and somebody would say, not that there's anything wrong with that, or like so like no matter what the situation was, like it'll be somebody like yelling down the hall, not that there's anything wrong with that, or something. And it would just be hilarious. It's like, no, it's like, we're not gay. Not that there's anything wrong with that, but we're just not gay.
Oh man.
Yeah, I should go back and watch some of these.
Yeah. That must be some. Yeah, absolutely. But like Rocky, thank you for bringing up the Jamie Foxx show and Gil Martin, because those are also two shows by stand-up comedians that that became like really great series. And I'm sure like there were like some more series that I just can't really like think about that like stand-up comedians. I guess Kevin James, the King of Queens. That's also another stand-up comedian show. But like I'm thinking of like sitcoms, like specifically. Like Louis C.K. had two shows. He had Lucky Louie and then just Louie, but they weren't like sitcoms. But I guess like the term sitcom, I guess I'm thinking of like the traditional like 3-camera sitcom where like you hear like the laugh track and all that. But like sitcoms can also be like The Office. Like The Office is a sitcom. Parks and Recreation is a sitcom. Abbott Elementary is a sitcom, and that's more like, I forgot, like, just like, I don't know, like, I guess it's still like situational humor, but just in a, like just a type of like, it's like a single camera show where like they follow. It's like the person. It's not the traditional like 3-camera. And it's not just like on a set. So like of course it is a set, but it looks more so like a documentary. It's like a mockumentary almost. Like these like Parks and Rec, The Office, Abbott Elementary. And yeah, but like I guess that's like sitcom.
Sorry, ignore that. I was just I had to pull something up.
Yeah, no, the junior mint incident was funny too, and the junior mint fell into the guy that they were like doing a surgery over. Oh my god, that was in Seinfeld. The Office era. You mean the Office era? I feel like honestly that was another shift in comedy too, with like when The Office, came about like in the early mid 2000s. I want to say.
Yeah, like 2003, maybe 2005.
Yes, George Lopez did have a show.
Oh yeah, I did watch. I remember watching that because also that came on Nick at Night, and I saw it along with Home Improvement with Tim Allen. I do remember.
Tim Allen a comedian? Oh, there's also Full House. How can I forget?
Oh yeah. Tim Allen was a comedian. I mean, he mostly did movies like that Santa Claus movie and some of the. He mostly did movies, but he had the Home Improvement. I liked Home Improvement. It's actually kind of funny.
It was good.
I'd never watched the George Lopez show as much, but I saw it was one of those things where it was not encouraged to watch at home because there were not super appropriate things in terms of like the family dynamics or the way maybe George treated his wife or other things. But I remember seeing some of it when I was in high school.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
I'm trying to think of like other stand-ups that had like Dave Chappelle's show wasn't a traditional sitcom. It was more so like
sketch comedy. Right?
Yes, exactly. It was sketch comedy.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, and I see the topic is more about comedians. I see what you're saying.
Mm-hmm.
Stand-up comedians who actually had shows. Yeah, Tim Allen was not a stand-up, but Bernie Mac show. I knew of that as well.
That was a great show. That was very funny. Like, there's a joke. I think it was from the first episode too, of the Bernie Mac show, where, like a homeless man, like he's driving, and a homeless man like comes up to him, and the homeless man's like, "Yo, Bernie, I'm a big fan. Like I need some money." He's like, "Yo, it's been so long. Like, it's like I don't know what food tastes like." And then Bernie goes, "Don't worry, man. Food still tastes the same." And then he like drives off. It's like, I can't remember what food tastes like. Food still tastes the same. And like I use the version of that joke, especially like with my guy friends who haven't had sex in a while. I'm like, "Yeah, don't worry, man. Boobs still feel the same." It hasn't changed. It's like pussy still feels the same. Don't worry. You haven't missed a thing. You're good.
What timestamp is this? Okay, because there might be going to Twitch and go clip that for the old thirsty mofos out here. Don't worry. It's the pum pum, the punani, whatever. It's all the same. It hasn't changed.
Yeah, it's still the same. Don't worry. It still feels the same. It's exactly as good as you remember. Don't worry, you're not missing a thing. Like nothing's
Dead,
Don't worry about it, man.
I'm dead. Oh, don't forget, Everybody Hates Chris.
Yeah.
I actually never watched it, but I always saw commercials like for Nick at Night or whatever, those throwbacks.
Yeah. No, that was an excellent show. Like I didn't like watch every episode, but I did see like a few, and that was actually a legitimately good show. That was actually a really good show. Yeah, I'm trying to think. So yeah, that's true.
There was another show that was like, I forgot the name of it. It was like a black show. So I looked it up. It's not All in the Family. Oh, My Wife and Kids. There we go.
But he wasn't a stand-up.
Damon Wayans. Oh, that was Wayans.
Yeah,
so they never, because they did so many comedic things. The Wayans.
They did sketch comedy with Living Color.
Mm-hmm.
The whole Wayans family.
Interesting.
Mm-hmm. That's where Jennifer Lopez got her start.
Yep.
Oh, snap.
She was a dancer. One of the Fly Girls.
Yeah,
and that's where Jim Carrey got his start too.
I was gonna say the same thing too. Yeah. I was like, that's where Jim Carrey got his start at. Yes.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. No, I guess there are a lot of stand-up shows by like comedians, but I guess like when it came into like the 90s, I guess that's what I was thinking. Oh, and Everybody Loves Raymond.
Oh yeah,
Raymond Arnold, he's a stand-up
That-
comedian.
I've seen random episodes of that. I feel like
Yeah, but that show lasted a long ass time too. And I guess was Roseanne? Was she a stand-up comedian?
Hey,
I don't want to say yes, but I know Roseanne was a sitcom for sure.
Right.
what was the show you were talking about where like Jim Carrey and Jennifer Lopez and them got yeah.
And Living Color, the sketch comedy show by like the Wayans family.
Oh yeah, I forgot that had just
Okay, so she was. I could have sworn that. Yeah.
Oh, so she was a comedian.
Mm-hmm.
Oh,
Ellen
nice.
DeGeneres. That's another stand-up comedian who had a show. Ellen. She had a sitcom.
She never saw her stand up with
Oh, it's excellent. Ellen DeGeneres' stand-up is excellent.
I can see it because the way she even does her show, I could see her being a stand up very well. Like we just went to college.
Yeah, no, you did tell me. Yeah, I'd say Everybody Hates Chris Counts as a sitcom. I guess because like when you think of sitcom, you just think of like the laugh track and certain things, but yeah, no, sitcoms have definitely like changed, and I would say Wanda Sykes, she had a show.
The Wanda Show?
She have a show.
I almost say I want to vaguely say yes. I remember watching it on like BET or some TBS.
Maybe.
Yeah.
I was gonna say Sarah Silverman, but oh yeah, DL Hughley, he did have a show. That's true. Was that like in the? I guess I was like still trying to think of like the 90s, but I don't think so.
So many names, not enough time.
Yeah, I know. It's
You're
true.
right.
Actually, what's up?
No, go ahead.
Oh, I was gonna say, like, I think what Chad said is very accurate. Like, a lot of people do stand up to get their foot in the door for like acting and things like that. Like I know, like I know and like know of some personally. Like, there's one guy who used to do stand up comedy down here, clean comic too, fantastic. He went up to like Atlanta and has been doing great. Like, he's been in like a couple shows. Apparently he was in Cobra Kai. I haven't watched Cobra Kai, but I did see him in the most recent episode of Atlanta with the reparations episode. He didn't have. Did he have like a speaking part? I mean, like kind of. Like he was one of the guys in the commercial for like the lawsuit. He's like, "Do you owe a ton of money?" And it was like a white guy and like a black guy and like this like typical lawyer commercial where it was like all this action and stuff. He was the white guy. I think his name was like Adam Levine or something. Or like something Levine. Anyways, like I know of him. Like when I used to do stand up, like he would go and you'd see him like in the open mics and stuff too. Very, very good. I don't think if there's anybody else that I know that I've like seen in terms of like comedy and stuff. I mean, like I've seen like some of my friends like in the background of shows sometimes, but they weren't stand-ups; they were just actors. But it's so cool.
Oh yeah, definitely.
Yeah. But yeah, I'm trying to think of like someone who's like a stand-up comedian who runs a show now.
Yeah, because I'm not even sure like modern stand-ups, modern shows. Like I'm thinking of shows like even with all those like kind of and they're like kind of comedies, like all the, like you think of Blackish or all the ish shows, or like I don't know what other popular like comedy shows, because that's the thing. There's a lot of shows, but like these people weren't stand-ups, and I don't know if the shows are purely comedies, like Insecure and Sanford. Hey, I know who that is. It's D. What's up?
Yeah, that's true.
Sanford and Sons.
That's an old show too. So thank you for that.
It's one that I heard a long time ago.
Yeah, I was trying to look for something that was like at least in the '90s. I feel like a lot of shows we're thinking of have been mentioning have been like in the 2000s. Full House, no. Full House was definitely in the '90s.
True.
With
Well,
Pod.
I've definitely seen a lot of episodes of Full House was a good one for sure.
Oh, so you're just into white sitcoms, is what you're saying?
Yeah, man.
Wow.
I'm fucking with you. I'm fucking with you.
It is interesting though because there are a lot of like classic black ones. Like even Different Strokes was one. I remember I was in Norfolk, Virginia, Norfolk State, it's a HBCU near Virginia Beach. I spent a year there, a summer there, for like a summer research thing. And basically, long story short, but a friend of mine from school, I ended up staying with his family for a little bit, and the dad, like black guy from the South, he mentioned something about like different folks from different strokes for different folks, and I was like, I don't know if I asked the question or something indicated I didn't really get the reference. He was like, "What? Different strokes? You don't know what different strokes is?" So I feel like he had the kind of like aneurysm that chat. I don't know if it's chat. The bunch of people in the chat were having when I was basically like, I don't know this thing, a Rocky, and a few of y'all were clowning me. There was a clip that I want to share. Basically, it's just like this video about like '90s Nick, and a guy it's like a 50-second video, but the video was like, oh, back like, do you remember Bobby's World and like these other shows? Kids these days, they don't have that. What do they have now? Nothing. Life is death and despair. He's like, it was just like this animated video, just like people were like, what do kids? Because I think the video came out like around the late 2000s or like early 2010. So it's just like, yeah. At one point, he was like, if you did not watch these shows or play these games, you did not exist. You were not a child. You retroactively did not exist.
That's crazy.
Because for me, I feel like I have to be on the defense a lot. Like, yes, I haven't seen this thing or I didn't grow up with this thing. I still had a childhood, I promise. I am a full-fledged adult.
Man.
So
I think you're missing out.
I'd missed out on a whole bunch of things, but we move. We catch up where we can.
There you go.
Steve Harvey that's a big one, actually. Steve Harvey is one who I never saw his stand-up. I really only saw him because obviously, a Family Feud and whatever other like things that he's been on. But like I've seen like YouTube clips where it shows something that's like literally something. I feel like you're trying to time me out because I never seen this. There's like a YouTube clip that was like, it was basically saying like one of the funniest like something about being black or something. Like I have it saved in a YouTube like playlist for like comedy that eventually I'll watch. And I remember one of the things with Steve Harvey, and you could see him with like hair and stuff. And I was like, dang, I need to go back in time because like I completely missed every single one of these people, like these old stand-ups and these old sitcoms.
Yeah.
But I mean, this chat, this is a perfect way of compiling some things to do a comedy binge session. Idea. There we go.
Which means you need to watch The Kings of Comedy.
The Kings of Comedy. That's the one that you mentioned. Someone mentioned before, right?
Possibly. Yeah. You're going to have to watch The Kings of Comedy.
The original Kings of Comedy?
Yep.
Kings of Comedy tour. Oh, I see. An hour and a half.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Cedric the Entertainer. I remember seeing Johnson Family Vacation. So that's really the only reason I knew who Cedric was. That was actually I actually saw that when I was pretty young, like elementary school age. And that was not an appropriate movie, but somehow we were all dying laughing at it. My parents even found it very funny. So like Cedric the Entertainer is actually someone that would probably be good to see some of his stand up too.
Yes.
But and then you have a bunch of people who are in comedy who didn't do stand up, like Tyler Perry. When you think of like black content creators, like when it comes to like not necessarily modern-ish, like 2010s, like 2000s, you got Tyler Perry, you got a bunch of these other people who didn't necessarily were in stand up, or as far as I know, they weren't, but they've still created stuff for the culture. Now, some people don't like Tyler Perry and his brand of movies because they feel like it portrays people in a certain way, but sometimes you just need some good old fashioned, over dramatic, hood, or I wouldn't even say hood, but it's like, you know.
No, you said it right. You said it right.
I was
You
just
said it
thinking,
right.
I would say it's not
You
as
said
hood,
it
but
right.
it's probably, you said it right.
But
Sometimes,
no, huh?
I do have a question. Um,
Go for it.
do you think Tyler Perry and like, you know, dressing up as a woman, doing Medea was sort of a catalyst for a lot of these black male like comedy performers essentially on Instagram and TikTok who, you know, put like the bonnet on and pretend to be like their mom, or you know, put like a towel over their head to mimic like long hair to be a woman. You think that could have been some sort of catalyst?
No, I'm gonna say no. I'm going to say no, due to the fact both Jamie Foxx and Martin Lawrence have both done it in their shows, respectfully.
I don't have as much of a breadth of the knowledge, but I imagine a lot of people independently probably started doing a lot of those jokes. So there's like a lot of these Instagram comedians, like a lot of especially Africans, like so many, like kind of Gil, like what you were saying with the Haitians. There's so many Nigerian and other Africans who like, you know, you'll imitate the African mother, and like I don't know, I just feel like it's just an ingrained thing that like you're gonna do just because you want to imitate certain mannerisms, or like the absurdity maybe of like when you got in trouble as a kid of certain things, and they do it for the dads too, and the African dads where it's like, pass me the remote. It's like the remote's right next to you. Hey, pass me the remote right now. And it's like, why are you like, it's just like these things that you can really latch onto that I feel like regardless of like Tyler Perry and Medea, people were going to make these type of jokes. I know a lot of like Spanish cultures, like Dominican, Mexican, whatever, like the chancleta, like with the sandal.
The flip-flop.
Flip-flop, yeah, that was a big thing too, where it's like, you just, I don't know, you just go ahead and like, you have to like make light of certain things that in the time were not so much funny, but like you grow to love. And
yes, and to Jesse's point, Eddie Murphy, he was doing that too, like way before Tyler Perry, in my opinion. And the reason why I would say that was because
for sure.
The only reason why, because I grew up watching not in Living Single, but in Living Color. I grew up watching that. I grew up watching the Martin show, the Jamie Foxx show, and a lot of times what they would do was, especially for like a skit, they would dress up as a woman. And everybody who watches Woman, y'all already know Shanae, Martin Lawrence, all day, every day. And I remember when who was it? I think it was Jamie Foxx. I almost want to say it was Jamie Foxx. They were doing he was performing a music video where like half of his face was like a man and the other half of his face was a woman. And so he would turn either way to sing the parts, and then when he pretty much got done, he would face the camera. You could see that the makeup and whatnot. It was hilarious. It was hilarious how he did. It was like, okay, yeah, that by far makes comedy that much great. So, yeah, like I said, this has been done, but way before Tyler Perry, way before.
Yeah.
And I agree. No, I definitely agree. Like, I mean, there could be some influence because I know you had Tyler Perry. There was I'm trying to remember Eddie Murphy. Was it Norbit when he like dressed up? There was another like I forget the other. There's another comedic movie where it was like a guy who dressed up as a woman, black guy, so this is Mrs. Doubtfire. This is like a black guy. I think it was like a series of movies too, where it's kind of like dressed up as like a big woman. And I don't remember who it was, but I know Norbit was a big one. So I feel like that kind of trend happens and has happened.
I remember that.
I actually didn't know about this, but I can definitely see that.
Big Mama's House.
Yeah.
Big Mama's House. Thank you.
Big Mama's House.
I described it enough. So Big Mama's House, I think it was like a 1 and a 2. I remember seeing commercials for that. So I noticed that a lot. Like, yeah, they have these like rules where you're gonna dress up and do whatever impression. I never watched Big Mama's House, which is not helping my case because I was gonna rebut Rocky's point, and then I just took like 5 steps back. I feel like so one step forward. Yes, I've seen Fresh Prince. I mentioned before that's one of the ones on Nick at Night that I watched a lot, and I've seen it probably before that, but definitely loved Fresh Prince. Didn't see all of it, but like I saw a lot of it. And the Wayans brothers, I mean, I've seen probably their content. Definitely like movies like Scary Movie or whatever, or Haunted House. I think whatever that movie was. I think it was Haunted
Scary
House.
Movie. Scary movie. You got,
okay, I thought it was
you got,
Haunted. Okay,
you got
fair
Scary Movie. You got Scary Movie with Marlon.
Marlon,
This is Scary
and
Movie.
the other one too. Was it? The other one wasn't in Scary Movie? I could have sworn they both were in Scary Movie.
Let's see, Marlon and Sean. For the most, well, let's see, because I know the first one, both Marlon and Sean was in it, and the first 2, maybe 3, they were both in it. And then afterwards, it was just like it was either one or the other that were in them, in some way, shape, or form.
Oh, he wasn't scary. He actually wasn't, because I've seen parts of Scary Movie. That's like I've also not seen a lot of those like parody movies. That's so funny because A Haunted House actually is the one that I remember watching 1 and 2. Those were like 2013 onwards. Scary Movie is like really classic, probably like early 2000s. Yeah, 2000 literally. And I'd seen parts of, because that's the one that has like the Scream mask, like the "What's up." I think that's Scary Movie.
Yeah, that was Scary Movie.
Yeah.
So I saw that like way later, like 2018. I just happened to watch it with a friend of mine. He was like, "You want to watch this?" And I was like, "Okay."
I didn't even read this. My bad.
Watch this. Say why? I don't do pronunciations. I have
people close to the computer screen.
Well, like for the Shakespeare plays, like women weren't allowed to act, so so men would play all the parts. But yeah, no, that's a good point, though.
That is an interesting.
That's really interesting point. Yeah, because you get stuff like Robin Williams and Mrs. Doubtfire, right? Yeah.
And you know, to Rocky's point, because even within Mrs. Doubtfire, it was just.
I didn't even know they were in Scary Movie 3.
Yeah, I didn't either. See,
Yep. I remember that one. Yeah, I remember. I remember that one. It was a what was it? Two were in it. It almost seemed like it was it wasn't supposed to be like a KKK rally, but somebody dressed up like it. It was like, lose the hood. Like, what? Lose the hood? Well, because when he put it on, Yep, I remember that one.
Interesting. I need to have a movie binge when I get my back. I need a movie binge, a comedy, parody, because there's so many types of like there's because this journey of comedy is kind of funny because it's, of course, you have the timeline of like how things progressed from, I mean, freaking Aristotle even before Shakespeare, but then Shakespeare when it's more of a production, Charlie Chaplin in the silent films. That's where we really went in the early 1900s. So before spoken movies, there was a lot of that like action and slapstick, Baudelaire, like French, like a lot of like absurdity type stuff and like clowns and mimes way back when. And then you like get to the modern era when people are out here TikToking and doing other stuff. But it's also interesting to see like the genres too, like how parody and satire becomes a big thing, political comedy, and then even like dark humor, black humor. So it's like you definitely, and then like I know one interesting thing, and this is like a quick tangent, but when I was watching like shows like Adventure Time and Regular Show, God bless those creator souls, because they really did a good one with those, especially like Adventure Time, especially like it's just so twisted sometimes, but just so interesting. And like originally, I think there's some people who just weren't really with it. Even me and my brother, when we were watching that, we were like, "What is this?" But like, we saw something online that was like, yeah, like situational humor and I guess organized humor is not as popular nowadays as like random humor, which is how you got shows like Regular Show and Adventure Time and some other things. And that was kind of true, that random kind of awkward humor. I mean, you had like Bob's Burgers. That one was really popular. I seen like an episode of that, and I do think like that kind of like awkward random humor became more of a thing. You could argue with The Office had it, but especially like in animated shows, you start to see some of those like cartoons in the 2010s. I'm sure you had older ones too, but like it was interesting. Like I think Steven Universe, which I never watched personally, but that was a big one. Adult Swim, and of course, let's not forget about Rick and Morty. It's just very interesting, kind of like that kind of progression too. I mean, it's probably cyclical. It's probably similar to some older stuff too. It's just in a new era, so it hits different. I never got it till I tried not to. Harold and Kumar. I don't think I had seen. Actually, I might have seen one of them.
Metapocalypse. Oh man.
Family Guy. I feel like Adult Swim brought back Family Guy. Family Guy was originally on Fox and it got canceled, and then it came on.
They actually
so like it got syndicated to Adult Swim, and it blew up, and then it came back, and I think it's still running, right? I think it's still making new episodes.
I almost want to say it's pretty much up there with the Simpsons. Pretty much up there with the Simpsons.
So
The Simpsons. That still blows my mind that's still a thing.
What?
The Simpsons.
Oh yeah, I know. Like I think that's like just the longest running TV series, or like definitely animated series. I feel like it's definitely something else.
Like it was one of those shows that were encouraged not to watch at home. Family Guy is one though that we snuck away at our cousin's house and actually watched a bit. In Futurama, I saw some, especially when I was in college, but that was 2012, so that was already like after it ended. But like Simpsons, I cannot really tell you much about what happened in that show. I just but I've seen references to The Simpsons obviously all the time. But yeah, those shows, of course, the Adult Swim. But an interesting one that was newer. I found it actually pretty funny, but I just didn't keep up with it. Was Archer. Kind of like absurd show. I actually like the first episode actually had me dying, and I feel like I can be easily entertained, but it can just be kind of like whatever. But like I was actually like really like, okay, this is actually a very excellent show. Like, you want ants? Yup. That is how you get ants, bruh. I'm pretty sure I knew that there weren't just two, but anyway, we're not gonna talk about my institutional knowledge of these Black comics. That is not what we're doing today. That's not what we're here for.
I've never seen the Steamed Hams clip.
That sounds familiar. I've heard of Tim and Eric, Beavis and Butthead.
Yeah, I feel like honestly, like unpopular opinion, probably Archer is definitely a smarter, quick-witted show than Rick and Morty. Like there's some shit on Archer that it's just like, I feel like you need to be like some kind of like history buff, like war buff or something to like know some of the shit on Archer that I just like, it just goes over my head. Rick and Morty, like Rick and Morty, like from everybody's comments and how big it got and like everything, like I thought like the jokes and stuff were so over my head and funny that I just didn't get it. And then like one of my friends was just like, no, everybody over exaggerates the intelligence of the show. I was just like, oh, okay, so I'm understanding okay, I got
I think I do. I didn't remember that was you, but I remember someone made a comment about that, like, I don't know, like a few months ago, and I was like, yeah, someone once told me about Rick and Morty, which is a show that I recently just started seeing. Like a few friends were over like last year in the fall, so I saw some random episodes, and then a few months ago, I saw like a few more, and it's like, yeah, this is entertaining for sure. Don't get me wrong. I just like missed the wave of it, you know. So
Right. Yeah. No, I get you.
Yeah.
I get you.
yeah, no, Archer.
Is
Archer is crazy. Like,
No, it's
that question, I'm going to take a stab. I'm gonna say, for the most part, yes, because like we'll take the regular show and Adventure Time, and add in the Amazing World of Gumball.
okay.
And the reason why I know those three is because my kids used to watch it, and I would sit there and I would watch it with them just to see what it was all about. And I'm like, this has to be the most cringe-worthy show ever. It's like, Dad, no, it's not as funny. I'm like, no, it's really not. It's really not. It's not funny. It's more so like not funny, but trying to be funny and try to put situations to make the situations even funnier. What it's like, no, it's really not. Like, I remember watching Archer. It's like, yes, cried laughing, especially on Adult Swim, cried laughing. And even the Venture Bros cried laughing because a lot of the situations that they were put in, it was like, really? And then when it happened, it's like, okay, that's funny. Like, how do you come up with that kind of a mindset to get it going? And even Metal Apocalypse, however you pronounce it, even though I'm not a hard rock fan at all, I'm not, but the scenarios that they were placed in, definitely funny. Like, okay, yeah.
Okay, for the times there. I I guess so, but I guess like age comes with the times too. But it's true. Comedy definitely changes over time. Some folks stay with the same. I I feel like a lot of it does have to do with our taste as well, because it's like, what am I doing watching Seinfeld? Like I didn't grow up watching Seinfeld, or like I remember even when I was, I don't know, maybe like middle school or something, high school maybe. I'd watch Different Strokes, like on Nick at Night, and I found that to be just like really funny. I don't know. I guess it's like I do absolutely feel that some jokes are just like timeless. I mean, oh shit, we never even like mentioned like the Flintstones and the Jetsons, like super old, like comedy cartoons, and like there were jokes in there that, of course, as a kid I didn't get until like you see clips that float around on the internet about shit that's like, today's, like, now that I'm older, it's like, oh snap, and Barney said, why would I, it's like, I have 3 heads or something. It's like, what the heck? It's like, what would I need 3 heads for? It's like, oh snap, who other head he's talking about is his penis. And like they were making some sort of joke about having like getting an extra head. He's like, what would I need 3 heads for? So it's like, so it's like, Barney an idiot, or does he not know how to count? It's like, oh, that head is his penis. But like when you're a kid, you don't know. But you're laughing nonetheless. Like I said earlier, like I feel like some jokes are just timeless. Like no matter what it is, like if somebody makes a joke, like like, I mean, Seinfeld has like a million like timeless jokes, but like the one of them was just like I think he was at some sort of dinner or lunch. I forgot like with who, But like an old, like he was saying, like, what are the odds of somebody having a pony? It's like, I didn't know she had a pony. How would I know that she had a pony? Like, what are the odds of somebody having a pony? Like, so like I feel like if we see that scene, like, you know, that joke is just you know, is timeless.
Mhm.
Because it's about ponies and it's about like them being expensive because they're still expensive today. and, and it's like, what
Mhm.
are the odds of somebody like who was like most likely broke having a pony? It's like I thought this was an okay thing to say, but I didn't know I was going to offend somebody at this
Right.
small dinner because the old lady happened to have a pony growing up. Like, what are the odds? But like, I feel like that joke will just be like timeless, and it's just hilarious and relatable because we've all been in situations where like we thought we could make this joke, we thought we could say this thing, and it's like, oh no, this is very poignant for somebody in this, you know, like in this room. So age, of course, definitely plays a factor, but I feel like with age comes experience, and then like we sort of like our taste kind of goes around experience.
Mm.
You know, if that makes sense.
Mm. And I just saw Julia's comment, Blue Julia, about trauma begets humor. Wait, you said they're terrible dancers? Oh no, the Irish dancing. I just remember that black girl who like won some competition or something doing Irish dancing, and like she went really viral. Otherwise, I really wouldn't have paid much attention to Irish dancing, but no, but in terms of trauma begetting humor, I mean, yeah, and it was kind of like what some we kind of mentioned earlier, like there's a certain darkness that comedians can maybe understand or that they live through, and so they can kind of like make the certain jokes about it. And so, yeah, the trauma can beget humor. You can like make light of certain things,
Mhm.
just to get through it. You know, like I don't necessarily like dark humor can be funny, but I don't necessarily go out of my way to like look into like suffering of others to find jokes. But there are people who can do it for themselves as a way of therapy. Like I've seen people who've lost parents or other things where they've made jokes um,
Mm-hmm.
about these type of things or what people have. I don't know. It's just like it's just interesting, like the way people cope. And yeah, like
Yeah.
you definitely can have trauma begetting humor. Um, like oh my god, like a good friend of mine from high school. I mean, lost his dad very suddenly. Like this probably happened when I was in college. He was a few years younger than me, so I didn't really see him all the time. Though he ended up coming to my college later. But anyway, at the time I didn't. So of course I was like, you know, just there for him and anything. But then he would be making jokes about like his dad, and like one person said something about like, "Yo, you're half Batman." And I was just like, "Oh my god!" like to each their own for coping how you cope. But like, I remember my friend Malik, like he went to college with us, and like this guy, this is my friend,
Yes.
making these jokes, and like the guy Malik was like, he's black dude, he's like, I gotta walk away because I can't joke about. He's like, I can't joke about this. But people do heal oftentimes through, you
Through
know,
laughter. Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah, no, it's like like it's hard because like sometimes it just makes things awkward. Like sometimes, you know, like you laugh awkwardly because it's just I don't know, your body's just like react. I don't know. Like I've definitely laughed awkwardly during certain times, and I've definitely been, you know, I want to say laughed at, but like I guess kind of laughed at during like a
Mhm.
really tragic time. And
Yeah.
I honestly still haven't really forgiven that person for what they did, so they can, you know, suck a dick. But
Hey, there we go.
you're gonna say something.
That's comedy.
You're gonna say something slick.
yeah, that's it for you. yeah.
Yeah, I'm sorry to hear you go.
Yeah, condolences.
Okay. Okay. Yeah. No, definitely our condolences.
Yes.
And just to get like back to back like that too.
Mm.
I'm sorry about that.
Oh,
Yes. I was gonna say too is like laughter actually helps people from crying, and it's another way to grieve. It's
Mhm.
another way to grieve. And to Jesse's point, yes, laughter is medicine. Yes, it
Absolutely.
is.
Yeah.
Laughter is medicine. Probably the best medication your doctor cannot prescribe to you.
There's one more to go. Oh god.
oh no.
Um.
Oh, here we go.
Yeah.
Oh man, this kind of reminds me, and I think, oh man, not to foreshadow because the next week we're still workshopping what's going on, but I think like when it comes to like what makes something funny, it's like I'm thinking like what are some dark situations, where it's like this, or it could have been a real life situation where it's like you really weren't supposed to laugh, but everyone did, or like you were struggling not to laugh.
Right. Yeah.
I feel like
Woo!
I need to go onto Twitter or Reddit and just read a thread of like the most effed up like situations. Whether like B Julie, you mentioned funeral. Well, you said funeral, but that made me think of like how people laughed at funeral. Like I haven't, but I've been to like a
Ooh.
few songs like memorial services, and I never had the inclination. But I've heard some people who really like want to uncontrollably laugh at like a funeral or something bad happens, or like someone gets angry at something, or maybe like teacher curses out, or something happens, and it's like this shouldn't be funny, but it ends up being funny, and I just find that so fascinating. Where it's like moments that really shouldn't have been funny, but were.
Mm. I'm
I mean,
guilty
And
of
like
that
why
department.
the psychology of why we find certain things funny, especially situational things where it wasn't like planned joke.
Mm.
well, one of the reasons why we laugh like is it's like it's like breaking tension. It's like the release of tension. Like,
Mhm.
of course, there's like premise, setup, punchline is like the formula for a joke. They got the setup, then you got the punchline, which is like pulling, pulling everyone under the rug, like pulling it from under the rug, sort of thing. So when you're creating a joke, you're building up the tension, and then and then you say the punchline, and then that's why you laugh. So it's like you're breaking the tension. So
Mhm.
of course, like when it comes to funerals, there's like a lot of tension, and so like, and I can understand why people will laugh. It's like okay, I get it. It just makes everything awkward, and then I feel like when it's awkward, then you start laughing a little more,
Hmm.
and like it's like oh boy, this is awkward, and then you just can't stop yourself from laughing. So there's definitely like that sort of instance, because like I understand that we can't really like understand like deal with shit, but I feel like when like the very serious situation where that person laughed at something that I said, it was just like I just don't really feel like it just came from a I want to say like I don't know, like the relationship I have with this person is already just sort of like strained, so I'm just like you laughing about that as if we're like close. It's just like it, whatever. So I just can't.
Yeah, I saw that and I laughed. I had actually been muted just for because I had stepped out real quick, but when I saw that,
Oh man,
God have,
that's funny
God,
though.
God have mercy, fighting for my
So,
spot in heaven right now. Oh man, like there was a
yeah.
joke. Well, anyway, I don't want to derail you out because this will get it'll get bad. Like
It's not like the body can
I
hear
don't
you.
know.
Oh no, Kyle,
Welcome.
Kyle,
Yeah, yeah.
Gil, Gil, Gil.
Oh my god.
Oh man, that is so. Oh, I'm just sitting
Oh,
here like just clicking on the comments, not even reading it. Shit.
but
Oh, oh, and then what he said afterwards. That's messed up, but it's funny. It's not funny, but funny at the same time.
Oh, I think
Oh man.
so she could have been ugly. Those- oh. No, definitely like laughter is definitely a coping knife.
Yeah.
I'm not gonna put her name up. No. No. I mean,
oh no.
I was gonna say a dark joke being like it's like Gil is Haitian, and that like sadly enough, it's very common in like in the Caribbean and like everywhere, honestly. Like, but in the Caribbean especially, it's like young boys getting sexually assaulted by older women. That's actually very common. So I was just like,
That's,
I was like, yeah, that's the Caribbean for you.
oh jeez. I was like, see, now you're breaking the mold because you were telling me like if there's a 20-something-year-old, like early 20s, you're like, I'm like 30 now, or you were 29 still, and you're like, I can't even like talk to someone in the early 20s.
No, that's me. Like, I'm not out here representing the Caribbean. That's not why I'm on the stream. I have no, don't even continue that joke. Do not continue that joke.
Oh man. It's
Like,
time to.
hell no. Hell no.
Oh man. Okay. Woo.
Shut up.
Cat. Oh, I don't know if this is a double reference, but
I think it is.
I don't
I'm
think
trying
she
to
was
remember.
Yes.
oh no, I wasn't referring to Ellen and Gil. I just, I mean, actually, the thing that actually no, that's that means
I
oh
remember when I worked at Wendy's years ago, like these Haitian guys came in, and one of them was like, he's like, do you have this like this type of food? And he said like he essentially said pussy in Haitian in Creole. And like but like he didn't like he said it, but I didn't know what it meant. But then he started to kind of like describe it, and I was just like, I forget what I said. I was like, oh fuck off or something. I don't know, but like, but I think cat like is also like a term for like pussy. Well, I mean, cat is always a term for pussy. Like pussycat. Pussy is always you know the term for vagina. But like.
Mhm.
To impress you? No, I do not. I am not. I am not doing that.
yo. So my high school, the mascot is the cougar, and I was like, dang, El, maybe you went to my high school because the way. the way you're about to learn these TikTok dances, about to get your Thomas Stone Cougar. It's our 10th year anniversary this year. Let me go. I'm about to find some cougars real quick when I go back to Maryland, Waldorf, Maryland.
I'm done, Toby.
Find some people with their 20 and 30-year anniversaries.
I'm done.
Gross.
I'm done.
Like no. Like talking to like guys on dating apps that are 25. I'm like, oh, you're such a little baby. You're a baby.
That's pain because of what people have said to me. I'm getting flashbacks right now.
I know. I'm sorry, but you were.
I was a 23 wee lad year old, first moving to Massachusetts, and then these 29 or 30 something year old women would be like, "Oh, I'm a baby. Well, thanks for telling me that after we danced or after we talked at the restaurant, the bar or whatever. It's fine though. It's all good.
Oh man.
We move.
Oh man.
Mm.
Oh,
There's one stand-up comedian, and I can't remember her name. Let me try. I feel like it's Catherine something. Catherine Ryan. She's a Canadian stand-up. No, I'm not gonna put that up.
I saw Chad's.
If you can die for our country, you can give them what?
Chad, oh my goodness. That I swear, sometimes I remember there were times where Mish would be like streaming and he was like busy during our stream, and then Chad would just come out of nowhere with all these fire comments. I was like, Chad is trying to win comment of the stream.
Oh my god.
That's messed up.
Yeah, no, you're lucky as shit not to deal with dating apps. I hate them with the passion. I always call it a cat.
I've not had a dating app since it's been over a year now. Just it definitely hasn't been all year since I've like even had Tinder or anything installed on my phone. I think out of curiosity, a few weeks ago, I was like looking up some apps again, and I was seeing apps I never even heard of. I was like, dang, people are active out here. Don't throw your cat at him like that.
Don't throw your cat at him like that. No, I get it. That's true. But yeah, no, absolutely not. It is. But yeah, so like when the whole like calling like a younger guy like a baby. Catherine Ryan had a joke where like she was dating like a younger guy, and she was like, "No, I didn't like go out of my way to like, find a younger guy. Is like as always, it's like an accident because like what grown woman would be like, ooh, what cat is like let me find a young man. Like who can I do everything for and teach everything to?" I'm just not busy enough. It's true. It's like, oh, okay, I gotta go teach this guy everything and like do everything. No offense, Toby. I'm not saying that you were that guy. It's a sad stereotype. But like, yeah.
I get it because I mean, like I was definitely like an active, young professional. So of course I like just had a job. I was like looking to buy a car. I was looking to get an apartment. So it's not like I was able to like keep myself up, but at the same time, you might not necessarily want to be with someone who like is buying the first car ever, which I was at 23 years old, in 2019, like May of 2019. So like literally 3 years ago, and I moved into like my first apartment where I was the sole owner on the lease. That was 2 years ago or 3 years ago, March of 2019. So for some people, maybe that is a little off-putting because it's like, let's last my college professor out. Yo, ask a graduate student or TA. Thankfully, I did not have those type of entanglements where I was like a TA because that gets messy. Like you actually could like be in violation of some kind of university thing.
Apparently, bullshit. Because like y'all are adults. Y'all are adults.
Conflict of interest. I think it's just if you're in the class. If you're not in the class, then yeah, that's your business and that shouldn't matter. But if they are in your class, then it's a conflict of interest and the sort of the power dynamic where it's like you could control their grade and their fate. And likewise, they can like blackmail you, I guess, to try to get something. So like apparently, because I wasn't a TA my first year in undergrad. So my first year in undergrad, my friends who also came into grad school, some of them who I knew from undergrad, some of them who I met knew, they were saying that at the TA seminar, they apparently said that don't touch the undergrads. And this is just such a funny way of saying it. I did not. until my second year. Anyway, we're not going to go into that. But we're not going to talk about that because that was a different time. Always coming in with the classy language. Yes. Quantum entanglements when you're getting it on in physics class. But
I'm curious, what was back then, Alan, if you don't mind sharing? I don't know, you dated a professor. No, I mean, because like I feel like the youngest you can be a professor would have to be like 30. You know, like
Okay.
yeah, I'd say probably. Okay, it was in the 80s. What, Chad?
So yeah, I think I wanted to make a Schrodinger joke so bad, but I kind of just let it go. As long as you don't actually check the box, then you are both a virgin and not a. How have I not thought of that joke? Maybe it's better for a woman to say, but if you check, as long as you don't check the contents of the box, you're both a virgin and not a virgin. Schrodinger's virginity. The cat, literally, it's a cat and a box. There's just too many. Like the jokes keep setting themselves up.
That's good. That's funny.
Did you actually beat the cat up, or did you not beat the cat up? We don't know until you check the contents of the box. When what's the guy's name? When Roddy Ricch said the box, I felt that. When he wrapped the box.
Oh man, now that has a whole new meaning.
I know, right?
Now I need to start like writing this down and like scripting so I can go ahead and just start.
Yeah, that was good. That was really good, honestly.
I appreciate it.
Well, happy 420, everybody.
Hey, this time last year we had a stream on 420 exactly.
Mm-hmm.
And that was fun. This time 420 happens to be the day before, but the day after, but it's cool.
The day after, yeah. It's all
in
good.
celebration, I have these gummies that are not at all they're not at all weed gummies. They are supplements, but we'll pretend that they have THC. We have elderberry and some other vitamins.
I think we're too sober for this.
Oh Lord, don't wine and chill. Yes, TMC. We're gonna have to talk about alcohol like purely one day, and refined in such refined ways where we get to taste test our wines and our scotch and you love your beer, so I definitely want to see some of the brewed.
Yeah, my beer is not going to be done until interestingly like Juneteenth weekend. It's going to be just coincidentally that wasn't planned, but
that's actually lit.
If you happen to be in South Florida Juneteenth weekend, I'm thinking about like having like a little like pool party.
All right, TMC. Yeah. Crap, Mish, you're better at this. the Maritime Council. No, that's at the sea. If we were on a yacht, that would be great.
You're right. We can't put the pool on a yacht.
No. Treat that box like an Amazon worker on overtime.
I know.
Jesus Christ. I don't actually. I have like a book a notebook that I started writing ideas for TikTok, and Reel was just becoming a thing because this was like late 2020, early 2021, and I started writing down different ideas I had for just like little short sketches I could make. That one joke I made about like a woman being like a car, a woman saying that she wants to be handled and she's a car. That was one of the jokes that I feel like I had written down. And I had like so many random jokes like that where I was like, I just need to start like recording when I get inspiration and then posting them at appropriate times. But it's just been so daunting and so like, do I actually want to put my face here on camera? Because I have some bangers, but I don't know if those bangers will ever see the light of day. And unfortunately, it is what it is at this point. Elle, you could probably relate a lot.
Oh yeah, for sure. Like, just like thinking about, yeah, definitely you could actually tweet them, Toby. But like, yeah, like I think about like stuff to like post, but yeah, when it comes to like video stuff, I just never do for whatever reason. I feel like that takes more effort than just like writing like a tweet. But some people, like treat TikTok as like their Twitter almost.
Mm.
So I guess that's just like, just like the thing to do. But funny enough, like I got this phone back, this OnePlus 7 Pro back in like 2019. Just tell them in live stream now, clip them. That's a good, yeah.
Mm-hmm.
But I mean, I don't know if like tonight's the night though, because it is getting quite late.
Oh yeah, I don't know the best time for engagement. Let me just look at your pinned tweet and use that, and Genie and some of his tweets and everyone else who's been going viral. I'm just gonna go ahead and look at y'all's tweets that have gone viral and be like, all right, this is when I need to start tweeting. I have no shame to say that I looked up the best times to post TikTok. Oh, that's interesting. Actually, I think I've heard of InShot. I definitely should look at that because the way these skits have been living in my head.
Yeah, definitely write them down too, because sometimes like in your head versus on paper, like you'll have like some dope shit in your head, then you write it down, and it's like, what are words? LOL. Just like, I agree. I always feel like it's always the right time.
Mm-hmm.
I do agree with that.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I mean, you'll be very like you'd have a shit ton of nutrients. So
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Vitamin.
I've never had an edible really, but a friend did give me one of those Wonka bars. I hear those things will lay you out though. I have not touched that because one, I don't really like I'm not opposed to it like how I would have thought years ago. I was like, I would never touch this. But I'm still just like not it's like a full body activity. Like unlike drinking where you can kind of do it a little bit, gauge yourself. You take those hits, or in the case of gummies, you take those gummies and you're done. And it doesn't even kick in until like because it goes through it has to digest. And I didn't realize how that difference is so different. Like it's so crucial versus with smoking, it metabolizes pretty much immediately because of your lungs and breathing in. The first
ever happened.
No.
No,
I've heard so many not great stories though. People accidentally done like too much. Like some of them said, I would do it again just with less. Yo. Watermelon sugar high.
Hey.
Someone actually told me that apparently that song was about I'm trying to remember who it was. Maybe it was you. Oh, I don't know. But that song's about sex. So,
I mean, it's the best kind of sex.
Oh, okay. The pink. I was like the pink, and I was like, oh, that's actually very clever. But I would never have known.
Woo, yep, we on one tonight, y'all.
Yeah, I was like, we're alpha being or whatever they be saying, whatever the kids say. THC. That is almost a recursive. That is almost a recursive acronym.
Yes, it's about eating cat.
I'm dead, yo. Weed's legal in the important states. Well, sorry, Al, but
I mean, laugh now, but we're worth what, like 27 electoral points or something. I'm the highest out of all y'all. So you gotta. So come at me again about what's important. What's the important state?
Retroactively, because weed is not legal in Florida, the state is less important. Sorry.
I mean, we have medical marijuana, so it's legal.
Ish.
Watermelon sugar, right? Yes. You're absolutely correct about the name of the meaning behind the song. If you watch the music video, it's very obvious. Stop the horny talk. Never.
Demon Time Council. Oh God.
Demon Time.
The TMC After Hours.
Here we go.
Hey, yeah,
Well,
we're gonna have to wrap it up. I know it's the saddest time of the Tuesday slash Wednesday.
this time of that didn't work.
If you're Syria in Texas, you talking about Delta 8, Ellen? Because we have Delta 8 here too.
Oh, snap, Speech. Why?
What is
I
this?
agree. I agree with that, Mish.
That is actually
Oh,
no, but actually CBD. Actually, I got some random gummies, but I've never really tried them. But see,
That shit is legal in Illinois.
yeah, that's actually the first. So I didn't understand the distinction with how some of these states were. Illinois, I think, was the first state that they like fully got everything legalized through the legislature, including how they were going to sell. Because a lot of it was ballot initiative, and some states would do it through legislature, but they never made a plan on how you can sell. So basically, if you're caught with weed, is legal, but it's suspicious if you're caught with a lot of weed because you're basically a seller. But thankfully, some states like now it's actually like Virginia did it. God knows what the governor is going to do, but I don't think it would be very popular to roll back marijuana, even though they did have the Republican governor who won recently. But yeah, and then like I looked up some states that were on the ballot. We can't get into a whole 420 thing, but like look it up. There are some states this year who are actually going to possibly legalize fully. Some of them are just going to be medicinal, which is still at least something. But there are some states that are going to be on the ballot this year. I think the other Dakota, because I think South got legal 2020. I think North is trying to get it on the ballot this year. I just meant because the time. It's going to be 4:20 a.m. soon enough, y'all, if we keep it up.
Oh, God, no offense at all, but I can't do that.
No.
But since we're on the topic of 420, it is 420 in marijuana. One of my good friends, his sister, is like I believe she still is like the chief operating officer of like a marijuana dispensary chain in California, and I think there was even one in Michigan called the Cake House, and their brother was like addicted to opioids and was trying to get off of it. And unfortunately, last year he passed away due to an accidental drug overdose because the person who sold him drugs laced it with fentanyl, and like a dangerous amount of fentanyl. So that caused an accidental overdose in him, and absolutely fucking tragic. So his sister, for years, even before their brother passed away, has been trying to, I guess I kind of help marijuana dispensaries and try to definitely bring marijuana to the forefront so it can help reduce, these drug overdoses and deaths and, destigmatize drug use, especially with marijuana, and like use it definitely as a substitute for lessening drug overdoses. So she actually wrote a book. Her name is Charlena Berry, or Char, called Breaking the Stigma. Racism, the opioid endemic, lies, and inviting grandma to the dispensary. So also strategies for cannabis retailers to win in the marketplace. So yeah, if you get a chance, definitely, look up her book and buy it. Haven't started reading it yet, but I definitely will. Mm-hmm. Yeah, like she's just a super driven woman, But yeah, so I just wanted to promote that.
Yeah.
That's awesome. Yeah, send that. Actually, if you want in the Discord or something.
Yeah, I'll share a link in the Discord.
Yeah, and in the Else Point, I did find that location in Michigan. It is actually not far from me at all.
Oh, yeah.
It's really not. And I'm actually very familiar with the city too, so I should be able to find it in no time flat. But yeah,
Okay.
no, that's nice.
Yeah. Yeah, because like their family is like originally from Michigan, I want to say. Like they lived in
Okay,
like a town in Michigan that had like one traffic light. It's like a little tiny town.
makes sense.
Yeah.
Makes sense. We got a lot of those here. Makes sense. Makes perfect sense.
hmm So yeah, I just wanted to promote that real quick, since
There
we're
you
on
go.
the topic. And as per usual, we take like an hour to sign off.
We
To
talked
say,
about this last week, right? To start leaving, we
yeah,
start
surely he's
and
pumped.
say goodbye to these people.
Yeah, I might have
Yeah.
to make a drive real quick.
No. So I'm about to sleep well tonight.
Facts.
There's some of these comments are different. I was trying to scroll back up to look for something. The Schrodinger
Don't do it, Tony.
Schrodinger's cat thing.
Yeah, that was what I was looking for, but there's some other comments, and I was like, some of this is different. Some of y'all are wilding, but it's all good.
Mhm.
We move. The Spanish.
But yeah,
Hold on.
Beautiful. Thank y'all for all of this.
yeah, no, definitely. Like, thank you guys for staying up late with us.
Right.
You know, yes, definitely. I'm gonna definitely join the Discord. I put the Discord link in the chat. Or the Melanated Council Discord if you haven't joined it already. And so just to communicate with us throughout the week, just because like our show doesn't just end on Tuesdays. You can communicate and talk to us all throughout the week. Definitely give us like ideas and feedback. And thank you, Alan. You're absolutely wonderful. Thank you so much for joining us. I hope you join the Discord. Yes. Yeah. No, thank you so much for joining us. Like, how did you find us, by the way? Because, like,
I appreciate it.
Yeah, no, definitely, we appreciate it.
For sure.
Yes. Yeah, thank you.
Man.
But yeah, I could share the Discord link again. You don't have to scroll on up. Yeah. But as always, you can communicate with us throughout the week. Drop any ideas and feedback, share any YouTube videos, any funny memes. Misha's always posting memes and all that. Search live comedy on YouTube.
Hey, there we go.
I guess we technically are.
So interesting.
We're talking about comedies. So.
That is so interesting, like the way we kind of randomly come up, which often happens on Twitch, but on YouTube too. Because I really don't think I'm like, oh, that's right. There are people like outside of the ecosystem of the people who already follow us on our Twitter page who randomly come across this, and it's mind blowing actually. So it's very humbling.
Yeah, thank you so much for supporting us. Thank you so much for clicking on us. Putting comments and filtered on current live streams. Yeah. Okay. Thank you. I feel like you're the type who sorts by new on Reddit. You're the true, like I feel like mobilizers of the internet ecosystem and community, because every single viral tweet, post, thing on like Reddit or anywhere starts out at 0. And there's always someone who, sorts by new. He doesn't use Reddit. If he did, you definitely sort by new. And also, you're not missing anything about using Reddit. Reddit became shitty in like 2015. But I live stream. Oh, okay. Do you have what do you live stream, Alan? Yeah, no. Thank you so much for coming, Jesse. I'm glad that you made it.
Yes.
Yeah. All right, awesome. Okay.
Mhm.
Nice.
I've done stand up times too. Yeah. Hooray, another stand up.
Hey.
Woo, woo.
Woo woo. No, for sure. Yeah. Okay, awesome. That's a good idea to sort on YouTube like live comedy. I should try that. Just to see like who's just out there. That'd be a great like, way to just right, exactly. So you do open mics like in your area? I think you said that you were in Texas, the worst kind.
Sheesh.
You mean like just like really loud dive bars where no one's paying attention to you, and somebody gets into a fight about nothing that has to do with what you're saying. No one's paying attention. Those kind of open mics. Okay. Hey.
Nice.
Nice.
There we go.
Okay, look at that.
Mm. Okay, so in Dallas. Okay.
Nice.
I've always wanted to visit Texas. I've always wanted
Yes.
to go to. Also, I think I have family near Dallas, if I'm not mistaken. I think my cousin is near Dallas.
Mm.
Is it Houston?
I know I have family near Houston, and then there's just people out in Dallas, which I didn't know really how big it was. Like Dallas, actually, like a lot of, especially a lot of immigrants, African, and I'm sure Caribbean, like, and just
Oh.
overall, like, there's a bit of a young, burgeoning population. So, yeah, Dallas would be a great place to visit.
Yeah.
No, for sure. But yeah, once again, everyone, thank you so much for joining us as always.
Yes.
Join us next week, Tuesday, 9 p.m. Eastern Standard Time, 6 p.m. Pacific Standard Time, and everything else in between or outside of that if you're in different countries. And of course, like I shared the Discord link in the chat so you can talk to us all throughout the week. So with that said, we're out. Good night.
Good night.
Everyone. Chris, love y'all.
Much love.
Love you guys.
You don't have to subscribe to Alan, and
Yes, definitely
That's the-
subscribe to Alan.
all these
Yes.
people in the chat, new people, old people, people who come back. Thank you all. Y'all are
Yes,
the best. For real.
Mhm.
for real. No, you guys make the show. We love you all.
Love you.
Good night.
Good night.